Yo, dragging dusty daggers across your chest, you mark for death. The machine of conquest, every tongue shall confess. Divided with violent tendencies, the tortured author. Flying saucer, transformer, bearer of disorder. In my paranormal form that day, I cracked your vertebrae. Careful with the words you say, the coming of doomsday. A passionate and poignant epic voyage, bombs deployed. The schizoid mind you avoid, now destroyed. A gambling man in a place once kept safe. The wailing woman awakes with a gun to embrace. Planes crashing, sword swinging, drunken assassin. Albatross in the tiger shards lock, still thrashing. Smack you whack rappers backwards, desperately depressing me. Flow so heavily, oh now, how you mention the cobra venom weapon therapy. Very enemy, bullets enter me, strike back out with no discrepancy. The purest energy, hologram was never there. Hidden prophecy soon revealed, stay trapped in my glare. No air in the underground lair where we slumber. Beware of nightmares that float by and drag you under. So bring all your wishes to me and I'll dismiss them one by one. Throw body bags off the cliff after I kiss them. Loud bumps, torn and twisted body lumps in solid mud. Squeezing rats in my palm is how I settle love.
Watching wolves peck at my flesh, the face of the amulet. Haunted woodland, disfigured just like the woodsman. Drag a pickaxe, skin sacks, bones collapse. Facts opposites attract, bridge snap, whips crack. In the shadows we fade to black. Perpetrate, imitate, initiate, lock on, detonate, eliminate. Zombie pharaoh, tarot bathing in flaming arrows. On the brink of the everlasting, time is passing, pain it remains the same. Barely tamed, the hand that came out the drain. For a friend I wouldn't warn you again. Sword on bend, the beast that came out my pen. Purple sunset, doom like a blood red moon. Secret room, you will find me inside the tomb. Gas chamber maker, barren landscape, mind state navigator. Storm activator, I was spawned from a dark nature. Overrun with the thoughts of madmen. Who would have them? Past the priest I dragged them. You're abandoned, tongue kiss a loaded magnum. Seek and destroy, the target is never random. Close the fly trap, perched on the point of a nice cap. Time lapse, bunker buster cluster. In the suitcase, body of a dead butler. Feather duster, you've heard of the mad long ghost. Bracken dance, straight out the ground we rose. Tested stricken, art of the beast mimic. This the earth style, 4-pillar wood prison.
It's doomsday. It's doomsday. It's doomsday. It's doomsday. It's doomsday. 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 Doomsday.
Profound.
Reality is a simulation, and Jesus knew it when he tried to warn us, but the church erased it. Sound crazy? Well, then ask yourself this. Have you ever wondered if everything that you see, everything you touch, could be an illusion, a hologram, a simulation, a cosmic deep sea? Jesus already figured this out 2,000 years ago. And what's even wilder is that modern physics is proving him right. See, today, scientists are discovering that matter doesn't even exist, that everything is just structured information, a projection from a higher reality. Here's the crazy part. An ancient book called The Sophia of Jesus Christ revealed the secret almost 2,000 years ago, and the church was so terrified of what it said, so if this world is an illusion, then who built it? And more importantly, how do we escape? And by the end of this video, you'll know what to do. The Sophia of Jesus Christ is a book that was likely written in the 1st or 2nd century CE, and the church was not happy. They tried to control all who leaked this info by banning it and persecuting anyone who had it. But luckily, it was discovered in 1945, buried near the tombs of Egypt. And in this book, Jesus appears not in the flesh, but is pure light. But who is the Sophia in the Sophia of Jesus Christ? Well, Sophia is the Greek word for wisdom. So this book is called The Wisdom of Jesus Christ. But Sophia is also a goddess of pure light, more powerful than the God of the Bible. So we'll get to that soon. But first, what exactly does this book the church feared so much actually reveal? According to this book, after the crucifixion, Jesus' followers were basically having...
I have to give him credit. Even though I disagree with the whole simulation, his idea of the simulation is a simulation based in consciousness, and that is really just terminology at that point. And his understanding of this text is pretty damn good.
The man that they thought was going to bring it out into reality was just dead. Game over. Or so they thought, because something insane happened. According to the Sophia of Jesus Christ, Jesus returned, but not in the way that anyone was expecting. He was about to reveal that this world was nothing like what it seems. The text says, the Savior appeared, not in his previous form, but in the invisible spirit, and his likeness resembles a great angel of light. But his resemblance I must not describe. No mortal flesh can endure it, but only pure, perfect flesh. So this was Jesus 2.0, not as a body, but as light. A light that's so pure, the average person couldn't even look at it. So why is this important? Well, he wasn't just trying to make a dramatic entrance. Jesus was showing that he basically hacked his way out of the simulation. Because reality is not even matter. He was like Neo, free from the Matrix. And his message to the disciples, reality is God. Now, his disciples, which were 12 men and 7 women, according to this book, gathered around the mountain with divination and joy. And they were confused. They had seen Jesus die, but here he was, like an angel of light. And they weren't asking him about love thy neighbor, fish and loaves, or turning the other cheek. They wanted the answers. So they straight up asked him, what is the underlying reality of the universe? Now, hold on for a minute. Pause. Do you notice something different here? This isn't the Bible story they tell you in church. They weren't asking about simple moral lessons or parables. They wanted to know what reality itself actually is. And Jesus, he didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't tell them to just have faith or pray on it. Instead, he hit them with this. I want you to know that all men from the foundation of the world until now, while they have inquired about God, who he is, and what he is like, they have not found him. The wisest among them have speculated from the ordering of the world and its movements, but their speculation has not reached the truth. So Jesus was saying that no one is profound. Greatest philosopher, not the holiest priest, not
One of my favorite texts. One of them.
the universe after one ayahuasca trip, because they've all been looking at the wrong parts. But Jesus wasn't trapped like them because he wasn't from here. He tells them, I, who came from infinite light, am here, for I know him, light, that I might speak to you about the precise nature of the truth. So Jesus is straight up saying that he came from beyond this world, beyond this simulation, this illusion, this prison of a false reality. And then he casually drops this bombshell. I want you to know that everything that exists was brought forth from a single source of infinite light, but the world itself is polluted. So did you catch that? He just said that everything that exists, everything was born from a singularity of infinite light. Do you know how crazy this is? This is a book that's almost 2,000 years old, and Jesus was literally talking about the Big Bang thousands of years before modern science even existed. But Jesus didn't stop there. The world we live in, he's saying it's not real, and that everything comes from light, but the material world is a polluted version of that something greater, purer, that's hidden from us. Alright, so maybe you're thinking, okay, but this is all just a bunch of mystical, mumbo-jumbo speculation, right? Well, no, it turns out that modern physics has been inching towards the exact same conclusion, except instead of calling it divine revelation, they called it quantum mechanics. Enter David Bohm, who was one of the most influential physicists of the 20th century. He took one look at reality and basically said, yeah, this is all an elaborate light show. Bohm proposed that everything we perceive as solid matter is actually born from light. Sound familiar? Bohm said, light can carry information about the entire universe. Light, by interactions of different rays, produces particles in all the diverse structures of matter. They are ripples on this vast ocean of light. This ocean of energy could be thought of as an ocean of light. Okay, think about that. The universe itself, everything you see, touch, or experience in general, it's not actually solid. It's patterns of condensed and structured light. So if it's all light, then why does it still hurt when you stub your toe? Well, Bohm described matter as frozen.
Wait till I get into the new science of heaven and plasma cosmology. Oh, man.
He said, all matter is a condensation of light into patterns moving back and forth at average speeds, which are less than the speed of light. In other words, everything we call physical is just light pretending to be solid, light that's been slowed down, and this aligns perfectly
Science and spirituality are about to be one.
with what the Gnostic gospel of Jesus was saying thousands of years ago. When Jesus
There won't be need for belief anymore.
but as pure light, he wasn't just trying out a new look because he thought it looked cool. He was showing them that this world, the material world, is an illusion of light. It's part of a structured, interconnected, light-based simulation. And to make this make even more sense, I want to try a quick thought experiment. Imagine a pool of water. Well, the water represents pure light. Now imagine parts of that water freezing into ice. That ice, well, that's like matter. It's still water. It hasn't become something else. It's just a different state of the same fundamental substance. So that's like ice is
Exactly.
transformed water. Matter matter is transformed light.
Exactly.
Reality isn't what it seems. And to begin to see through the illusion is to realize that we were never separate from the light.
Exactly.
We've just been slowed down, frozen into form, trapped in a dense illusion. For the truth, we've always been part of the infinite source. Now, before we reveal more mind-blowing things that Jesus said in this damn gospel, I want you to understand how reality could be a structured simulation of light. And to do that, let's think about holograms. Now, a hologram is an image that looks real, that looks like it's three-dimensional, but it's actually just structured light. How? Well, it works by manipulating how light waves
Spurgoli was like Spurgeon, so I didn't know if that's what you wanted me to talk about. Should we support Zionism? I'm kind of lukewarm on the issue, to be honest. I'm good if you do, I'm good if you don't. Not really a deal breaker. I think the Mossad are some pretty cool people to have on the side.
What is the
some pretty cool people. I think the Mossad are some pretty cool people to have on your side.
What is the
On your side. I think the Mossad are some pretty cool people to have on your side. There's some really a deal breaker for me. I think the Mossad are some pretty cool people to have on your side.
What is the Mossad?
The Israeli version of the CIA. That's what it is.
They're kind of like a Swiss Army knife. There's a bunch of different versions of them. Yeah, they have spies like the CIA. They have shop crews, assault crews, type guys. They're pretty cool. And girls. They have girls too.
It's Israel's spy agency. Then you have Shin Bet, which is another agency that's kind of like the FBI. It's basically the equivalent of CIA, but they're way, way better than the CIA. Trust me. They make our CIA look like amateurs, especially with the DEI that's infiltrated our CIA the last 5-10 years. Our CIA is a joke. The last 20 years, our CIA is a joke. Seriously. DEI ruined our CIA. DEI ruined our FBI. DEI ruined our military. DEI ruined everything. Think about it. Israel doesn't have the DEI problem we have. You know what I mean? So, Sarah, what's your take? Like I said, from a Jewish standpoint, we don't really care whether you support us or not. First of all, America didn't send us arms. We get them from China or Russia or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? In other words, we've been around 4,000 years. We're not going anywhere. So it's just ridiculous to think. And as far as Palestine, let me just make this point. There's no Palestinian people. There never has been. That area was always the land of Israel in the old days. What happened was the Romans in 70 AD came along, kicked out a lot of the Jews right after Jesus and all this shit. They kicked the Jews out of that area and renamed it Palestine after the Philistines, which were an arch enemy of the Jews. In fact, David and Goliath, you know that story? Goliath was a Philistine. The modern Palestinian people are not Philistines. What happened was, basically, the Romans renamed it Palestine, and then you had about 10, 12 different entities between the Romans and present day. You had the Romans, the Ottoman Empire, the British. Then the British started calling the whole area Palestine again. When in reality, there has never been a Palestinian people. They're basically the people in Palestine and the West Bank. They're really Arabs. They're basically, I'm going to educate you folks. They're Arabs mostly from Egypt and Jordan. What happened was the British mandate in 1946, 48, whenever it was, basically said, we're going to take this land and split it. We're going to give, at first they were going to give Jordan and the land of Israel all to the Jewish people and call the whole thing Israel. Then the Jews said, well, you know, let's give a hope to these so-called fake Palestinian people, because the only reason they were called Palestinians is because the British continued to call that area Palestine. That's the only reason. So it was named Palestine by colonizers. Originally the Romans, and then the last colonizers were the British. They were colonizing it, so there really no, this term, when it was called Palestine, the whole area was called Palestine, and you had Jews living there that were considered Palestinians only because the British named it Palestine. It really, historically, was never called Palestine. So it's kind of a weird thing. So these Palestinian people never really existed. They're just Arabs, basically. There's no Palestinian people. There's never been a look through history, never been a Palestinian nation ever. The Palestinian, listen, I'll prove it. The word Palestine is not even mentioned in the fucking Quran. I dare anybody, it's not mentioned, the word Palestine is not mentioned in the Old Testament, not mentioned in the New Testament, and it's not even mentioned in the fucking Quran. Why? Because they didn't view it as Palestine. You know what happened was, it only became Palestine when Jews started moving back there, and the Arabs said, you know what, we need to create a fake people. Let's call these people Palestinians. These Arabs who are really, so what happened was, and when Israel, when the British mandate came down in 46 to 48, and they split the land, guess where most of these so-called fake Palestinian Arabs went? They're really just Arabs. Let's get down to the brass tacks. They were created as a fake people. They don't have really any history as far as Palestine goes, and basically they moved most of them into Jordan. Jordan was given the home of these people, okay? That's where most of them went. And what happened was, a few of them hung over in the West Bank, and the remaining, here's what happened. Egypt was controlled. Here's my proof. In 48, when the Arabs attacked Israel, it was the Arabs attacking. It was Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. There was no mention of any Palestinians taking. And the Gaza Strip, before Israel took it over, was controlled by Egypt. Michael 48 until the early 70s. What happened was Israel won the Sinai and the Gaza Strip in the Six-Day War. Listen, they took the Sinai in the Six-Day War. What happened was, so 20 years ago, Israel left Gaza. In 20 fucking years, these people had 20 years to get their shit together. They've got 25 miles of pristine Mediterranean coastline, and these sandblacks, as I call them, they had 20 years. They could have built the next fucking Dubai there. But they spent 20 years and all these billions of dollars tunneling underground, building like 300 miles, 300 kilometers of subway, fucking terror tunnels. These fuckers these motherfuckers have better land than fucking Dubai. Don't you people get it?
Wait,
20 fucking years, these sand ninjas couldn't do shit.
Portion of this
to the detriment of many of derelicts, we come to inject a bit of intellectual info set to a beat to offset the imminent complaints of the ignorant. Those content within the confines of a weak mind designed to neglect the text sent to tape within a virtual space and time with the pace that the tempo dictates. Blind and dumb, but they can't anticipate an 808 before a speaker vibrates. So I wait for some insignificant rhetoric from an idiot to get into it. In an instant, their brains been fed with all the bullshit that's just been said by the fool who accompanied the melody, telling me about his car pictures and his jewelry and the usual cruelty committed in a fictional universe governed by laws and a verse memorized by a million willing civilians waiting with open wallet and purse, making temporary financial security an oxymoronic reality for the industry's most recent casualty. Rap about loot would have yet to recoup. Then is the son of the man in the suit, emotionally scarred from the cul-de-sac, but the boulevard influenced his current delinquents and dumb raps joined by a dope sequence. And the shit was mistakenly taken as literal, much like the Bible. Now it's inspired a need for survival amongst all suburbia gang rivals. It all stems from the initial recital. Use caution with words cause meaning is vital, but with a dope beat you can bypass everything that you learned in morality class. That feeling of guilt, it'll gradually pass with every residual check that you cash. Niggas
rest F for uncave for kid, ask your dad. The 1% was to come and represent with a lower contingent, inventing stories of glory just to bore me. 80 minutes later on SACD, that's informing me of nothing. Wait a minute, let us visit when performing. You're reminding me of something we don't even want to see. Stockpiling all of this equipment will get you down nowhere. Buy more break count, sample clearance, calling me at my job to get info will get you nowhere. Put your wardrobe, crying about fortune like misfortune gets you a tour van. A label support, sleeping on a staircase, writing raps on a rooftop, living in a room that's 10 by 8. You wouldn't do that just to save face. That's from you not being real in the first place. Scum like you disappear without a trace. Make beats just like him, write like them, and it's a shame that you limit yourself to that. And it's even worse that you wholesale it to us. Writing all these false tales, I'm going to take you out. No hatred on those that flip chips and come from a studious upbringing. Hit the streets and end up banging. A vicious typical problem that you perpetuate when you can't find a task to alleviate this altered state. Gravity will wait, they don't know, I won't go away. See, you can't make the basic rep asphyxiated, so it's real versus fake. Rhyme but fake, wardrobe fake, stage show fake, outward gear fake, message fake, your crew fake, your group fake, the whole catalog fake. Watch that jaw break, blade like a saw blade. You're no more real than me since we both live in 3D. I can cry on command, do you know they taught that in the acting school? Your heart will rise at a rapid rate and implode, and you to be continued. No set date, you just wait, you just wait.
Welcome to The Machine Lies, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And a little continuation of the various presentations and themes that we took off into last time, right? But before that, I want to sort of recount as much as I can, of course, what the current sort of round of presentations has brought us into, right? And that is a increasing link between technology, okay, and religion, right? And kind of the two subjects that I come to, right? And the place that really links both of these subjects together, right, is the occult. Why? Because the occult focuses on the divination of the human instinct for creativity, right? We could become divine, right? We could sort of change the world, right? And we could remake the world, right? Now, of course, this instinct is very much against Taoism, right? Taoism does not, the project in Taoism is not to seek enlightenment or progress, right? These are negative, basically very negative ideals within Taoism, right? Any externalized sense or goal is wrong in Taoism. Why? Because in Taoism, mediation is sort of evil, right? Because everything is mediated by the Tao, right? So, if the Tao is the great mediator, then any attempt to, sort of mediate this mediation, right, is sublimating of vital energies, right, into forms that are, sort of non-organic, artificial, right? Now, when we look at the artificial, right, we come to a sudden realization, right? What is artificial as opposed to organic, right? Now, we could look at technology itself, right? What is technology, right? Is technology a combination of our mind's instinct to mediate the processes that exist already within the natural world, right? Is it something along those lines, right? Could it be explained in such broad terminology, right? Okay. Now, we have man, right? Situated within this entire scheme, right? Now, as I said, you have four ideas, right, that basically fare into the architectonic scheme, right? Right. And just to remind you what I think these four ideas are, okay, they're mentioned within the Tao Te Ching quite often, right? It's this idea of God, right? Or sort of the creative instinct, that the universe is one, right? Either you have God or you have monism, right? Within the universe as a whole, right? Now, the God could be material or immaterial, right? Okay. Okay, so that's God, right? Okay, that's God, right? That is the options, right? The possibilities, right? Okay, right? Okay, either God is the universe itself, right? Okay, which means God is nature, right? You could expand and say God is physical being that controls the universe, right? Right? Or you could separate physical and spiritual, right? And say God is immaterial, existing above the physical plane, right? And there's all sorts of disagreements about that, right? Some would say a God immaterial is less powerful. Some would say a physical God is more powerful, right? All sorts of disagreements within that spectrum or thought, right? Next, you have nature, right? Right? As this great architectonic theme, right? And by nature, I mean the universe, right? Now, I said that you could simply put the divine at the level of the universe and then cap it off right there, right? So there's this possibility that the universe could be, right? Or nature could be divine, right? Or nature could have a creative impulse, right? Okay. In that sense, right? And this power could be either given to nature by God, right? Okay, or nature could be a realm wholly separate from God, right? That has its own implications, right? Okay. Okay, or you can go to naturalism. Okay, so there's many different options, right? Nature could be at the level of the divine, right? Nature could be delineating from the divine supernatural powers, right? Which is imbued with the creative instinct or including mind, right? Going down from that, nature could have mind. Going down from that, nature is totally mute, totally naturalistic, right? And you can just put it away there, right? Right. So there you have nature. Okay, so you have God, you have nature, right? Now let's go to man, right? Now, many times people have ascribed man in the quality of the divine, right? Okay, many times people have ascribed man the quality that he is a mirror of the natural world, right? Okay, like the Hermeticists, they claim that man is a microcosm of the macrocosm, right? But also that God created the world in order to know himself, right? So the creative act for the Hermeticist is part and parcel of the divine sensibility, right? Right? God creates, right, in order to illuminate intelligence, right? So this entire quality is putting man, right? And the notion that man could become like God through his creative impulse, right? Okay? But surely some put man above nature. Okay, now remember, we read that great scheme, right? Where the scientist was talking about machines, right? And nature and humanity, right? Okay, and saying that machines and nature may supersede man, right? In his creative impulse. Okay, now we come to the last idea, right? We have God, nature, right? We got mankind, and of course we got man's creations, right? Okay, which is the technology, right? Now, many people will say that nature is technology, right? So they'll compare nature to man's creations. Okay, many people will say that man is separate from nature, as I said before, right? And therefore, the creative impulse of man strikes to create something alien from nature, right? So our technology, it looks different from nature or doesn't incorporate nature to it because we're not really from here, right? So there's this option, right? But in this whole scheme, you have several ways in which um, human society encapsulates several different of these elements, right? Human society is a complex interplay between ideas of God, right? Ideas of the natural world, right? And ideas about humanity itself and the goal of humanity itself, and also the goal of human creativity, right? So you'll find that almost every form of civilization has these various perspectives interladen into it, right? And so you'll find that man's idea of technology, right, or his creative instinct, right, plays a central theme, right? Plays a very central theme, right? And that's why we're here talking about technology in relation to the natural world, in relation to human society, right? Okay, in relation to our experience of religion, right? And we're talking about these four great architectonic themes, right? Which is God, nature, man, and technology. Now, you'll see many people confuse the architectonic scheme, okay, by misplacing these terms, right? Many people will say man is God, nature is God, right? Technology is God, for example, right? Okay. They may say, right, that technology is nature. Interesting concept. We'll talk about it, right? They may say man is technology. They may say God is a machine, right? We've heard that one too, right? Okay. Sort of a demiurge, right? Okay, sort of Gnostic terminology there, right? It's possible, right? Now, the complex interplay between these four themes and, of course, nature, right? Right, you'll notice that, if you look at Christianity, right? Okay. If you look at paganism, if you look at Greek philosophy, right? you'll notice they have complex schemes that tell you what man is, that tell you what creativity is, right? That tell you what creativity is for, that tell you what level of the universe and nature that mind functions at, right? Does it function on the level of humans, at the level of the beasts, at the level of the plants, right? What about at the level of the processes of the natural world itself, right? Is there mind within those processes, right? So when you look at technology, you're actually combining, right, the material and the immaterial. Okay, you're combining experience and imagination. Okay, you're combining or synthesizing the type of learning that can be done with the eyes and the type of learning that can be done with the hands, right? So it's a synthesizing and a catalyzing, right? In terms of perception and in terms of activity, right? So as technology synthesizes, activity and perception, right? It also synthesizes functionality and aesthetics, right? Okay. It also synthesizes functionality and aesthetics, right? Go into a Minecraft video game, right? And everything the world is made out of is what you're going to use, right? Okay. Use and aesthetics and functionality, right, are all melded within the machine, within the mechanistic, right? Okay. And this is because a machine is different from a tool, right? A tool is biotechne, right? Machine has not been extrapolated to be biotechne yet, right? Right. It was technique that had to integrate the machine into human society, right? The machine itself is very antisocial, right? It tends to disintegrate culture, right? But what happened? See, what had happened was, right, that the impulse to create, right, man's impulse to create, right, has sort of taken on a life of its own, right? Okay. This is hitherto just one idea within the mechanistic scheme, right? Okay. Now, biotechnate, see, tools used to be an extension of, tools are an extension of human movement. Okay, remember I said that, right? Right. In the sense that mechanization, because of automation and because of, many ideas, right? But mainly because of the goals of automation and efficiency, right? Right? A machine is rather sparing of the human, right? Okay, as Nietzsche says, the machine makes everything active and uniform, right? So it has this quality as well, right? But the machine is antisocial. Technique integrates the machine into human society because there's social aspect to techniques, right? There's a human aspect to techniques. There's a human aspect to tools, right? So they're able to integrate technique. Able to integrate the machine, right, into human society, right? Now, you have three distinct elements here, right? You have technique, you have the machine, and you have human society, all having a distinct development. Okay, if you look at the rise of the machine and the industrial world, it was rather sudden. In the 1800s, it just sort of blossomed. Okay. There was years of liberalism, okay, an extension of which is capitalism, right? And the scientific enterprise. They all had their death within the mechanical world, right? Okay. It's because the machine, okay, it's not really too interested in individualism, right? It's not really interested in human freedom, right? It's not really interested in science or reason, right? Once it maximizes reason, it tells you not to think, right? So the machine has a specific outline, right? Okay. Now, let's go to a tweet I made recently, because this is something that I wanted to bring up here. We're kind of on this subject here. Okay, we've kind of come to this subject here, which is where we are sort of this week of presentations, right? In Elul and within the other things, right? But we have a couple hours here we're going to present to you guys in terms of the Tao Te Ching. Okay. And in terms of Bill Joy, why the future doesn't need us. And so we're going to be bringing that to you guys. And tomorrow I have a very special or morning, in the morning time, I have a sort of a special lecture or presentation. I've sort of been developing, covering the major themes there, and then we'll take off and start reading Elul. Okay. So this is the main thing that we're going to be focusing on, right? Is Elul, Why the Future Doesn't Need Us by Bill Joy, right? Which we're coming to the end of that piece. And of course, the thoughts of Jacques Ellul and the Tao Te Ching, the various translations of the Tao Te Ching we're working through, right? Okay. And after I read this, thing on Twitter, I'm going to go ahead and say hello to the audience here. Blessings. Sort of zoom in here to this text and put this out here. Yeah, so we have now reached a truly post-human phase that includes post-scientism and post-liberalism. To paraphrase Ellul, liberalism gave birth to its executioner. Technology now guides the scientific enterprise. The liberal scientific age was the precursor of the technological state. All right. Okay. So we've reached a post-human phase, foggy somatic detachment, right? A post-geological phase, right? Okay, where global corporations are pseudo governmental entities, right? All right, and this idea of, you know, capitalism. Oh, whoops. You guys aren't seeing it. Sorry about that. There we go. Right, we have now reached a truly post-human phase that includes post-scientism, post-liberal. I don't know if this was just on the screen. I'm sorry about that. Maybe it presented the wrong thing, right? To paraphrase Alul, liberalism gave birth to its executioner. Technology now guides the scientific enterprise. Liberal scientific age was a precursor of the technological state, right? These ideas, right, of the Enlightenment age, right, where the ideas of Newtonian physics, the ideas of capitalism, the ideas of liberalism, right, and the ideas of the scientific enterprise were laid down, right? Okay, and also the ideas of the democratic age were laid down. Right. The technological state has made an impression on all of these various institutions of knowledge, right? It's now transformed the institutions of learning, the liberal institutions, right? Okay, and it's guiding the scientific enterprise. Technology is now guiding science, it's now guiding culture, right? Okay, so these are the main ideas that we're working with here. How did we get to this stage, right? What is the true impact of technology on our world, right? And on human society and on human psychology, right? Okay, on our ideas about man, on our ideas about nature, on our ideas about God, right? Okay, that's why we have two shows here. We have one show called The Machine Lives. We have one show called Holy Robots that we've been working on, right? Since the beginning. Okay. And both of them explore two fundamental concepts, right? Science and spirituality, whether you want to have it, or technology and religion, right? In this sort of, okay, idea, very much about a transforming of our metaphysical sensibilities as well, right? So we sort of get into philosophy, but we don't really bill ourselves, right, in that sort of area, right? Although we have quite a sophistication with philosophical texts, right? Right? Philosophy is just one of the tools, right? Okay. Now, theology, philosophy, history, right? And in the current age, technology that's guiding all of these things, right? Now, I will talk about tomorrow how technology gained an architectonic character. I sort of talked about it on Saturday, right? I sort of addressed it on Saturday, and on Wednesday, last week's shows, we gave a couple of great presentations on those themes, right? But we'll be back with that tomorrow, right? But yeah, let me go and look at the chat here, right? It's been almost 29 minutes into the program, right? I've been yapping. So let's get into the Tao Te Ching, right? We're not going to be here for that long today. It is one of those short streams, right? So let's get into the Tao Te Ching, right? And hopefully we'll have some guests. Okay, if not, it's not a big deal, right? Okay. But yeah, maybe we'll have some guests, maybe not. Okay, we'll have some music here in a little bit. Okay, but let me talk to the chat here real quick. All right. And then we'll get into the text of the Tao Te Ching, right? And then we'll have a little musical break, and then we'll look at, why the future doesn't need us. Why the future doesn't need us, right? By Bill Joy, who's responding to Ray Kurzweil, right? And also responding to Kaczynski. He's taking a middle position, okay, between Kurzweil and Kaczynski, right? Right? Kurzweil says we should go meld with the machines, right? Right? Kaczynski says, right, we should, let the system fall, right? Let it go down and accept the consequences, right? Okay. Now, what does Bill Joy say? Right? He gives a radical third option, right? Possibly the most radical of the two options, right? If we can't already control the direction of where technology is headed, right? Is that we try to mitigate certain forms of technology, right? And that's part of our collective enterprise as humans. Okay, do we have a choice, and who makes the choice to accept some of technology and reject some of the other parts of it? Right? Because the system is growing increasingly more interconnected as we speak, right? Anyways, I'm going to stop talking, right? These are the questions which boggle my mind, friends. Okay, as to quote Elon Musk, he says, we may be at a civilizational crest, right? So sometimes civilizations crest, right? Okay, what does that mean, him saying that, right? Interesting. And also the concept of Technocracy USA, right, of Joshua Halderman, right, the patriarch of the Musk family, right, that scientists should take over the government. A company, right, that controls scientists should take over the government, right? Technocracy Incorporated, right? Okay, these designs were laid down way before, right, our present age. Even you could see it in The New Atlantis by Francis Bacon, where he talks about machines that go under the water and machines that fly over air, and how a country that's basically on the continent of America controls the resources of the world by having philosopher scientists run the government. Right? So if you read the designs of either Francis Bacon to Bertrand Russell, they all wrote about scientific totalitarianism and how it was a basic solution to our global issues, right? Okay, this is because science has become pro-technology and anti-human, right? It's a form of scientific misanthropy, right? And so we have technology and politics, the autocratic state and the technocratic state, right? This is where we're at today, folks. Wake the fuck up, right? You cry about how you're against liberalism or you're against all these other things or you're against communism. You don't know the first two things that are going on in this goddamn world. Open your fucking eyes. Right? If you can't understand the terminology of half of the things I talked about in the beginning of this show, or the images, the themes, sequence of ideas, none of it rings a bell to you. Okay, you're in a bad position to understand what's going on in this world, all right? This is all I'm trying to point out. Okay, thankfully, you've reached a place with thousands of resources and hundreds of hours to help you understand, right? Okay, let me go back and look at the chat here. Blessings. That's right. Andrew Wilson uses Zionist cuck technique versus Zionism. That's right. Okay, very strange set of events, right? We'll be exposing more about Zionism, Christian nationalism, Okay, all of that type of stuff, right? We got a lot more coming up about that, right? All right, so Made by Machine Bob 2, right? I'll throw that in the community post soon. Worked out last time. We got over 10 subscribers when I did that last time. I greatly appreciate you guys over there at the Cyber Caliphate channel, right? Blessings. Joe Mills. Peace, brother. What is that, a block of ice? Yeah, nice. Yeah, TML, British Palestine, 1917, yes. Grand Lodges, 1933, ceded by French, not Brits. Interesting. Then state is 1947, 1948, that's right. Central Bank is 1954. Europe had language changes. For example, French to German for colonies is the same. It's helpful to think in terms of language groups. Oh, okay. Yeah, blessings to Joe Mills. Blessings to the homie Joe Mills. Televised apocalypse. Thank you for being here. Definitely read out televised apocalypse comment, the big homie. Let's see what he's got to say. I would love to be here. Unfortunately, some people have to do things to survive. Well, that's everybody, right? Apparently, that's everybody. We can't all live in a Hollywood bubble. Yes, this is true. I mean, I wish I was, honestly, rich and famous, or even that we had teams of people here, or supporters. Unfortunately, we have none of those things. No money, no supporters, no production team, right? Just one individual, right? Muhammad, right? Making a presentation called The Machine Lies, right? So all of the little bells and whistles, yes, they are a product of my own effort. I put a lot of time, okay, into presenting material for you guys, right? Okay, at least 21 hours a week, right? So it is what it is. Okay, we try to do at least 3 hours a day worth of programming, right? One day, if we get lots of support in here or people in here, right, we may do a 3 hour show every night, right? If this becomes a regular thing, right? But yeah, we've had a mixed bag of supporters and haters since the beginning of this, which we basically expected, right? It's no worries. Thank you to Freak. Blessings. Panelverse presents. Blessings. Peace be with you, sir. Browns boy. Blessings, sir. Thank you for being here. Denise. Thank you for being here, my friend. Okay, Truther Cop. Blessings, brother. Ragamuffin Vision. Nice to see you, my friend. Now, I love the avatar. Dope. Jake. Yeah, Tricknology, Pilot Tricks. That's right. Mindful Exposures. Blessings, sis. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we got some good stuff coming up. I'm coming up at you guys. We're at the hour mark here. Let's open up the Tao Te Ching and see where it takes us, right? Thank you guys for being here. Yeah, we're looking at two distinct translations of the Tao Te Ching, right? One by Aleister Crowley. Okay. Sort of a mystical translation that he has, right? And then we have a sort of different translation by Father Seraphim Rose. Right? So we're sort of comparing and contrasting these two ideas, right? And we're looking at a sort of dichotomous view inside of the Tao Te Ching, if we could, right? So we're trying to stretch the ideas and concepts to their maximum capacity to be stretched after looking at four distinct translations of the text itself and analyzing four distinct translations of the text, right? And we did that with an open panel, right? Having open discussions about the topics, right? So if you like the guests that you see usually on the panel shows, right, you'll be very interested to see them sit there and discuss the Tao Te Ching instead of their usual chit chat, right? That they have on the drama shows, reacting to material and all of that type of nonsense, right? But yeah, the contempt for circumstance, right? Let's open this up. You know, we'll read this for a little bit, right? Blessings. Says favor and disgrace are equally to be shunned. Okay, that's right. Okay, in a lot of translations it says praise and blame. Right? Go beyond praise and blame. Right? Honor and disgrace. Right? Okay, honor is bestowed by humans. It could be equally be taken away. Right? It's not foundational to your happiness or survival. Right? This honor and calamity to be alike regarded as adhering to the personality, right? Okay. Okay, meaning that when you get honor, right, losing that honor may bring calamity. So gaining it has the danger of bringing calamity upon you, right? So, having honor is not a soft thing, right? It's not something. So, once you gain honor, right? Once you gain knowledge, right? It's not a soft thing, right? You'll be judged by what you know, right? Right? You'll notice that as soon as you learn something new, right? It won't even just be people. It'll just start showing up, right? It's like God will start testing you on the basis of that one piece of knowledge you just gained, right? So not all knowledge gained is necessarily a gain, if you say so, right? Okay, let's get going here. Blessings. Let me change my background here to the Bodhidharma. You mean? Let's do it up. Yeah, please show my homie some love here. Twilight Apocalypse. You know what I mean? Show him some love. Send him some money. You know what I mean? This is the homie right here. He's entertained you guys many times on here. You know what I mean? Real talk. Everybody's enjoyed his presence. Even the people that disagree with him greatly enjoyed him. You know what I mean? His perspectives. You know what I mean? It's a deep thinker right here, man. Yeah, help keep my homie afloat. Blessings, guys. You know what I mean? And you know me, man. I don't even promote this show or anything about it. All I'm concerned about is people actually seeing the problems. I mean, and we've lost tons of people for that. Okay, we've had these LARPers on trying to drag the show into the territory. Okay, where it's a staged production from their discords. All right. The sagas are chronicled, okay, within live streams of this show. No need to explain anything, right? The people that have been here watching, they understand, right? Kind of goes with what's being said here, right? What is this which is written concerning favor and disgrace? Disgrace is a fall from favor. He then that hath favor hath fear, right? And its loss begetteth fear, yet greater of a further fall. That's what I was just explaining, right? What is this which is written concerning honor and calamity? Just a little bit more of this, guys. Is it attachment to the body which make calamity possible? For were one bodiless, what evil could befall him? See, which one is more important, fame or the self, right? Says Lao Tzu, right? If you focus on the self, right, you won't incur fame, but you won't lose anything. If you focus on gaining fame, if you gain fame, the worst thing will be losing it, right? So this is the big problem you should consider when trying to gain honor and fame and favor from others. Okay? It says, therefore, let him that regardeth himself rightly administer also a kingdom. Let him govern it who loveth it as another man loveth himself. Right? Let me go to this right quick. Right? You know, the Proverbs, you mean? Proverbs 16:32. Right? Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who taketh the city. Right? He who is slow to anger is better than the Almighty. Okay? He that ruleth himself better than he that ruleth over a city. All right. That's 13, folks. Let's go back to Father Seraphim Rose and see what he has to say. All right? Blessings. In Christ the eternal Tao, right? Okay, here we are. And this is a deep translation. I'm loving this translation. You know what I mean? And also his commentary. You know what I mean? He says, in finding the traces of the way in nature, the sage, right? Right. Remember when he talks about the sage, he's talking about Lao Tzu, right? And when he talks about the prophet, he's talking about Christ, right? The sage found the simple nature from which man had departed. Return to the babe, he said. Return to the state of the uncarved block, the pristine simplicity, the primitive origin of man. Here indeed is the main thread of the way. In his infancy, his primitive origin, mankind had been made to rejoice in a way, his source, to abide in him, to cleave him, and never depart. Okay? So this is very important, right? Right? Nature is following the way, right? The way is of pure simplicity, right? And also man follows the way, right? And the sage found the way by seeing its traces in nature, right? All these very much relate to the opening presentation here, right? He's talking about many of the main elements: man, nature, God, the origins of man, right? Okay, mankind had been made to rejoice in the way, his source, to abide in him, to cleave to him and never depart, made to raise himself above the things of the senses, above every bodily appearance, to become selfless like the way, to go beyond himself in selfless love, to contemplate the way extending into the universe, to know the inner essences of created things and moving even beyond these, to behold the primal word. Now, what is the primal word, folks? Do you guys remember? That would be the Christ. Right? The primal word is Jesus, right? Yeah, blessings. Seeing in him purity and stillness of thought, the image of the primal mind. Now, what's the primal mind? That's God the Father, right? So you have the mind and the word, right? All right. Okay, now it says, such was man's original nature, the state of the uncarved block, the pristine simplicity in which the simple and undivided way made him, in which he was ever to remain, but from which he had departed. For not striving to go beyond himself, he preferred to seek things nearer to himself, the body and its senses, removing himself from the invisible way. He began to regard his own visible self. Therefore, the ancient sage, seeking to return to his original nature, to the immaterial source beyond the realm of sense, said, one's perfect virtue lies in his conforming to the way. The way may be styled the form of the formless, the image of the imageless. Go out, meet it, and you will discover no beginning. Follow after it, you'll discover no end. Lay hold of this ancient doctrine and apply it to the nourishment of your soul. You will then understand the primitive origin of man, the main thread of the way. Okay, let me go to 14 in Crowley's translation. Right? Okay, it says, we look and see it not, though it is omnipresent, and we name it the root balance. We listen for it and hear not, though it is omniscient, and we name it the silence. We feel for it and touch it not, though it is omnipotent, and we name it the concealed. These three virtues hath it, yet we cannot describe it as consisting of them, but mingling them aright, we apprehend the one. Above it, it shineth not. It shineth not. Excuse me. Below it is not dark, it moveth all continuously without expression. Returning into not, it is the form of that which is beyond form. Right. The image of that that is invisible, it is change and without limit. Okay, the form of the formless. Remember that? Right. Essence with no form, right? Right. Which is the really the focus of primordial mind or primordial word, right? Primal mind, primal word, right? As he's saying, right? We confront it and see not its face. We pursue it and its back is hidden from us. But apply the Tao as in old time to work for the present. Know it as it was known in the beginning. Follow fervently the thread of the Tao. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I think I'll read up to chapter 20 for today. Says, when my contemplation is complete, said the ancient sage, and the quiescence is maintained unalloyed, though the various forms are restless, I am looking for the return to nature. Before the way came into the world, the restless world groaned for his coming. For the one being who had been given the choice of whether to follow the way had departed from the way, disturbing the original harmony. The one who had been given governance over nature had departed from his own governor and from nature, disturbing the original hierarchy, made to find pleasure in the way. He had instead found pleasure through his senses, made to desire the way. He had instead desired created things. Made to remain in primal simplicity, he had fragmented himself into many parts, going against his primitive origin. Ancient man had entered into contention against himself, contending with himself and others for the objects of desire. He had spread contention through the earth, having corrupted his own nature. He had brought all nature into corruption with him. Therefore did the various forms that were made groan for their maker, to restore the lost one to the way, to return him to his true nature, to cleanse the filth of his corruption, and thus regain the original harmony. Though the various forms are restless, I'm looking for the return to nature. Do you hear the restless earth, its groaning, O ancient man, O lost one? It's not the wind, for all things are still. The lake is calm. The leaves do not rustle on the trees, and yet the spirit hears a cry. That never-ceasing moan that existed before your kingdoms, you cover the earth with your kingdoms in order to stifle that cry. But it would not be smothered under stones. Your mind speaks incessantly with the voice of desire in order to drown out that cry, but the heart hears it beneath the mind's din. To the ears, it is a silent moan. To the spirit, it is louder and the mightiest tempest elements can make. Will he come then? Will he come? He will come. How will he come? It is man who disturbed the great harmony. Therefore, as a man, he will come to restore it. Whither will he come? The way always seeks the lowest place. Okay. Very beautiful. Right? Talking about how, okay, man tried to subdue nature and build kingdoms because of his desire, right? Fell out of harmony with the way, right? In order to multiply his own desires, right? He totally lost track of the heart and the goal of natural simplicity, right? How it was the honored path, right? And so a man was sent into the world to show human beings true simplicity, pure simplicity, again, the natural state once more, right? All right. So let's go into Crowley's one, right? The appearance of the mystery. The appearance of the true nature, right? The adepts of the past ages were subtle and keen to apprehend this mystery, and their profundity was obscurity unto them. Since then, they were not known. Let me declare their nature. To all seeming, they were fearful as men that cross a torrent in the winter flood. They were hesitating like a man in apprehension of them that are about him. They were full of awe like a guest in the great house. They were ready to disappear like ice in thaw. They were unassuming like unworked wood. They were empty as a valley and dull as the waters of a marsh. Who can clear muddy water? Stillness will accomplish this. Who can obtain rest? Let motion continue equably, and it will itself be peace. The adepts of the Tao, conserving its way, seek not to be actively self-conscious, but their emptiness of self. But by their emptiness of self, they have no need to show their youth and perfection. To appear old and imperfect is their privilege. You know, one of the legends about Lao Tzu is that he was born an old man laughing instead of a baby crying, right? That he stayed in his mother's womb until he was an old man, right? And then his mother leaned up against a tree and he fell out of the womb and he was laughing. So here is another one. 15. The valley spirit never dies. Right? And of course, he's going to connect this to the Mother Mary, right? The Theotokos, right, of the tradition, right? Because if you look at it in the Christian tradition, all the things that Lao Tzu is saying about the valley spirit, they make tons of sense, right? Because he's literally talking about the mystical aspects of the mother, right? Yeah. So, he not only talks about the newborn babe and how the newborn babe represents natural simplicity, but also the vessel, right, of the female, and how that represents nature and water and all these types of ideas, right? So it's fascinating. He says, the valley and the spirit do not die. The ancient sage, they form what is called the mystic mother. From whose gate comes the origin of heaven and earth? Remember, the origin of heaven and earth is the Christ who the world was created through, right? And this gate shall be shut, said the ancient prophet. It shall not be opened, and no one shall pass through it, for the Lord shall enter by it. The mind spoke through his word, answered the earth's elemental moan. Above that roaring cry, he answered with a still small voice, I will come. Will you receive me then? But no man heard that voice, only a small young woman. Who had lived unknown in silence and purity in the great temple, was given to hear it. And in a small voice, she gave a voice to the whole earth. She answered for all those beings in created forms who could not speak. She answered for all the people who could not hear. And to the question of the uncreated mind, she answered, yes, I will receive you. Be it unto me according to your word. In her, the way had found the lowest place in the entire earth, the nadir of the valley, the supreme humility, lowliness, and there he came and made his abode, took flesh of her whom he loved above all others, who dwelled on the earth, and was meek and humble like himself, lowering himself, emptying himself in his love into the lowest place. to become tiny child within her, the mystic mother. Because of her profound and intangible humility, her gate opened by no man, through which no one had passed through, became the gate from which came the origin of heaven and earth. Because she had returned the state of the uncarved block, the pristine simplicity, she became the mountain unhewn by hand of man, whom the ancient prophet had foretold. The spirit, the breath of heaven, rested upon her, the valley of humility, and he had upon the first, as he had upon the first formed world. Okay, so 16 is extremely small. Let's go back to Crowley, right? And I'm sorry to do it like this. I will have, or when we get towards the end, we'll have one day specifically Seraphim Rose and one day specifically Crowley. So we'll chop it up. But this is mainly for time, But yeah, there's many concepts and ideas that Lao Tzu uses to talk about natural simplicity, right? The newborn babe, the valley, right? The water, right? The notion of water itself, right? The notion of unhewn wood or natural simplicity or plants, right? The pliable nature of plants, right? How plants rule through stillness, right? How plants don't own what they produce, right? Or take credit for what they do, right? All of these ideas, right? Blessings to Lizard Tree. Thank you for being here, madam. I greatly appreciate you. And to the other 23 people that are here watching this, I greatly appreciate you guys, right? Okay, thank you guys for being here. Okay. Okay, we're on 16 here. The withdrawal to the root emptiness must be perfect, and silence made absolute with tireless strength. All things pass through the period of action, then they return to repose. They grow, bud, blossom, and fruit, and then they return to the root. This return to the root, okay, we name silence. This silence is witness to their fulfillment. The cycle, okay, this cycle is universal law. To know it is part of intelligence. To ignore it bringeth forth, bringeth folly. Bringeth folly of action. Whereof the end is madness. To know it bringeth understanding and peace. These lead to identification of the self with the not self. This identification maketh man a king, and this kingliness groweth unto godhood. That godhood beareth fruit in the mastery of the Tao. Then the man, the Tao permeating him, endureth, and his bodily principles are in harmony. Proof against decay until the hour of his change. All right. And any news on the brother Talcott? Did he come on today? Let's go to this. I will call him in a couple days if he doesn't come online. See how he's doing. If he's okay. Lots of prayers to friend of the show, Jack Talcott. This is here. Water, said the ancient sage, greatly benefits all things but does not compete with them. It dwells in lowly places that all disdain, so it is like the way. The way came down and emptied itself in a lowly cave. Not amidst human dwellings, but in the home of lowly animals, born in a lowly bed, dirty straw strewn on the ground. Happy, prosperous people slept in soft beds in the nearby inn. But while other infants wept that night, he was silent, and the sheep bleated like rippling water. So it's talking about the stillness and the calmness of the baby Jesus, how he represents the natural simplicity of the uncarved block, right? What's cringe? Oh, the Talcott thing? Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I read the Penguin translation too. That one's translated by DC Lau. Yeah, we read that one earlier. All right, so very short one. Again, relating to the newborn babe, water, natural simplicity, plants, right? The female, okay, being the vessel that, you know, mediates between heaven and earth. All right. The valley spirit. All right. All of these are markers of natural simplicity, forms of natural simplicity, expressions of natural simplicity, and of the uncarved block, right? And remember, I was saying that natural simplicity is against cultural refinement, right, within the Confucian tradition. That's why when we get to chapter 20, he very much rejects society, right? Okay. Sort of rampant individualism that is non-egoistic, right? That's how I characterize the path of the Taoism, right? Of course, I'm trying to simplify things for everyone. Yes, we're concurrently reading two different translations. Okay, I'm kind of going overboard here. I should be ending this soon, right? But yeah, maybe we'll make it to 18, right? Let's just make it to 18. If we can, and then we'll take a musical break here. Blessings. The purity of the current. In the age of gold, the people were not conscious of their rulers. In the age of silver, they loved them with songs. In the age of brass, they feared them. In the age of iron, they despised them. As the rulers lost confidence, so also did the people lose confidence in them. How hesitating did they seem? Right? Right? So remember, first is a ruler that's lest the people rule themselves and the people are not aware of his rule. Right? Okay, the best ruler is but a shadowy presence. Remember, it says another one, right? The next is the one that's loved. The next is the one that's feared, right? Okay. So he's saying that the world went through these phases as well, right? It went through the diminution of these various forms of rule by going out of harmony with the way, right? How hesitating did they seem, the lords of the age of gold, speaking with deliberation, aware of the weight of their word. Thus they accomplished all things with success, and the people deemed their well-being to be natural course of events. Okay, now let's go to the one in Seraphim Rose. And sadly, this is all the time we have today for this particular segment, right? We're going to move on to an hour of looking at Bill Joy, why the future doesn't need us, right? And I have some powerful reflections about technology and, and all that type of stuff, right? So we'll get into that, right? And then tomorrow, we're going to open up with Jacques Ellul, right? And explore some of those ideas that we're talking about here, right? And of course, we'll have more of the Tao Te Ching, right? But yeah, our goal is to sort of ruminate on the text and to read several translations. We're going through several translations of the Tao Te Ching, right? And also a seventh teaching called the Shangzu, which we'll read sections of. It's a very sort of lengthy work compared to the Tao Te Ching, right? But we'll look at sections of it, right? Key sections, and reflect on those as expanding on some of the Taoist teachings, right? So we're nowhere near done with looking at Taoist ideas, right? Okay, and we're only now just beginning. May seem ridiculous, right? Because I've given hundreds of hours of presentations on technology, right? Where we've looked at industrial society and its future, technological slavery, okay, the views of Dr. David Skrbina, Jacques Ellul, okay, Theodore Kaczynski, and others. Right, so we'll continue to reflect on those. Critical views on technological civilization. But yeah, let's go to this. Chapter 17, before we depart from our reading of the Tao and have some music here, right? He says, the way continuously creates, said the ancient sage. And the power of the way nourishes, enlarges, feeds, completes, matures. Cherishes and broods over all things. The way creates but does not demand for itself, acts but is not boastful, controls but without compulsion. This may be called the mystery and the power of the way. The 10,000 things all honor the way and respect its power, but without demand or orders. When the way came to earth quietly under the cloak of flesh, he did not demand respect, nor was he want to reveal his true name, a name worthy of all honor. He left it to those whom he made to utter his name. Word of the mind, son of the Father, son of the living God. Hiding his glory in the deep pools of the valley, he called himself rather the least in the kingdom of heaven, the Son of Man, for he had made himself the son, the offspring of his own offspring, lowering himself beneath man who had falsely exalted himself. Right. The exaltation of man, right, is part and parcel of him losing, contact with the way, right? Thus he who, he goes on to say, thus he whom the 10,000 things give honor and respect, gave honor to his one disobedient child, man, as a child gives honor to his parents. Okay, fascinating stuff. All right, from Seraphim Rose, okay, and also Crowley, right? I never thought I'd be learning anything from Crowley. Real talk, right? But looks like he has some powerful reflections on the Tao Te Ching, definitely. Right? And we got the homie right here. Right? Blessings. Yo.
Blessings.
Blessings. Yeah, I don't know why my background is no longer fluctuating, but yeah, we had some interesting things pop off here. You know, it's really just been me up here. You know, but yeah, you know, I'm gonna move on to trichnosis, trichnology. I mean, and all those things. So we're taking a radical departure, and we're having some music here. So, I mean, I got some, you know, and of course, this music here is to promote Spooky Saturdays. Okay, we're announcing Spooky Saturday. We got Spooky Saturdays, folks. All right, Spooky Saturdays is where I play horrorcore music on Saturday. Okay, so we're just ramping this up. You know, last Saturday we tried to do a little Spooky Saturday. You know, we got a little bit. Okay, we got going with it, right? But I'm trying to do a little bit of horrorcore music, so this is a promotion of that, right? What language was the Tao Te Ching written in? It's written in ancient Chinese, Rocky. Ancient Chinese. You know, so you know, classical Chinese. You know, so modern Chinese people who speak Cantonese or Mandarin, they would not be able to understand it. As far as I know. Right. But yeah, let's go to this music here. Blessings, right? And yeah, we'll be back.
It was 2 in the morning, June 94. Some ass men came and left some slugs in my front door. Too close to home, it's time to call it quits. Wife threatens to leave, my daughter's throwing fits. What's the plan? The situation's out of hand, so I pick up the cordless and proceed to call my man. What up, black? Some niggas pulled up in the act and tried to bring the ruckus with a premeditated attack. Yo, fuck that, I ain't going out like that. Disrespect my home, I put some niggas on their back.
True that, kid, but give it a minute, yo, just wait.
To top it all off, they had out-of-state plates. Yo, who's these outsiders? Trying to make some noise, they better finish what they started, cause my squadron destroys. I'm pissed, these niggas is number one on my hit list, and I won't be satisfied until I see their death certificates. Retaliation, with a bit of hesitation, I'ma let these niggas sleep, then proceed with their assassination.
I don't know why, niggas is trying to bring it to me, but if they want my life, they gotta come take it from me. Ties between my family, nothing I know is stronger. I'm in too deep and I can't hold my breath any longer. I don't know why, niggas is trying to bring it to me, but if they want my life, they gotta come take it from me. Ties between my family, nothing I know is stronger. I'm in too deep and I can't hold my breath any longer. We gave it a week, then decided to make a move. We wanted the niggas to think that everything was cool, that they got away with something, assuming they got over. Loaded the trunk with explosives and pulled off in the Range Rover. Rolled on they block like 5-0 raid the drug spot. Set the timer and turned their spot into a vacant lot. Looked in my rear view, saw flames and heard screams. Was aware of the fact I killed some innocent human beings, but I guess it was their time, cause we all gotta go. I took care of my business, kid, that's all that I know. At least that's what I thought, until I got home. I walked through the door and saw a note by the phone. It said, honey, I'm at the hospital, let me explain. Tanya went to visit a friend and the building went up in flames. Come as soon as you can, they don't think she's gonna make it. She's on life support, I need your hair, I can't take it. I thought to myself, nah,
couldn't be, not my own flesh and blood. I refused to believe, but when I got to the hospital, they said it was too late. They said she didn't make it. My wife was irate, screaming like she was possessed by a demon, yelling fuck the world and life, what's the meaning? I asked her where it happened. She said down the block, down the street, around the corner from that drug spot. You mean the building on 53rd and 5th? She said, yeah, how did you know? An unfortunate lucky guess. I ran into the bathroom and almost threw up, cause that was the spot me and my man blew up. Oh shit. What the fuck am I gonna do? Oh shit. What the fuck am I gonna do?
All right, so let me read the Luddite challenge. I'll read a few selections of these. From Why the Future Doesn't Need Us. This passage is by Kaczynski, An Industrial Society and Its Future. Right, and we got some people here. Whoops. Gonna full screen that, unfull screen that. Add Hank O'Flamio. Blessings, Hank. What's going on?
I was at some Benjamin Sordic. He's ending his panel, so this my obvious next stop.
Nice. Benjamin. Hope he's doing well. I mean,
Yes.
excellent. Yeah. He's had major contributions on this show, from what I can remember. Some interesting discussions with myself, as well as very notable discussion he had with DeFreak, I remember.
Yeah, the
I mean,
Greek and Bunny Christ. He educated
yeah.
Bunny Christ on a whole bunch of things. So.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag there. I mean, they both agree on the Council of Jamia, though. Interestingly
Yes.
enough, so
Yes, they do.
They agree on that particular fact. So that's what's very interesting. But yeah, so there is crossover between their set of beliefs. Bunny Christ, as we know, our friend Rant, Hank calls him Bunny Christ because he showed up with the bunny, picture when he first came up, in the rabbit hole or something like that. I mean, it was something about going in the rabbit hole. But yeah, the whole idea that he actually took up practice of all of the laws that are mentioned in the Torah. So he talked to a few people about that. Even he talked to Jeem about that. Jeem Apologetics actually came on the show one day. I don't know if you remember that moment. Pretty funny. One day we had Southern Israelite on to do an interview.
I like Southern Israelite, even though he's
Yes.
a Pancake Planeter. His other stuff is actually pretty good.
Were you watching the show at that time?
No, I went back and watched it.
Yeah, that Southern Israelite episode is very interesting. We had some very interesting guests that day, including Jeem Apologetics, which we tried to get in contact with him again, but I don't think he wants anything to do with this show, which is probably for the better, in terms of the type of propaganda that he wants to put forward. Is
Also, James, the Machine Lights just challenged you to a debate. That's how he challenges. Makes issues debate challenges. So get ready.
No, that's not even a challenge. I'd stomp that guy. I mean, that would not even be a that would not be a problem. I mean, but yeah, the new Luddite challenge, and really any Christian debaters. I think I'm the top boss. I mean, honestly,
Yeah, pretty much when I prep for debate, I pretend I'm prepping for the Machine Lies because anyone else would be easier than he would be.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Christianity, it's going to be hard to beat me in a Christianity debate. I mean, unless you really looked into Paul's letters and stuff. I mean, but I could do a lot with just Paul's letters that I think a lot of other people cannot do. Interesting things like interesting critiques. I mean, yeah, I don't think that somebody like Jeem or Adam Green or anybody like that would have a very easy time. I mean, debating my positions there. I mean, for sure.
Yes,
but,
also Muslims pretty easy too. Muhammad Hijab still hasn't gone back to you, so.
Well, Muhammad Hijab, he's actually way too. I think the Muhammad Hijabs and the Jay Dyers of the world, they're a little bit too high up there. They're a little bit like they're on the they're like pogo level. I mean, so that is some other I mean, that's a whole new brand. I mean,
Well, yeah, they think they're too popular to talk to you, but I don't think they would actually beat you, either of them.
yeah, that's definitely pogo setup. I mean, written all over it. Um, but yeah, back to the dire, okay, straits. All right, and I will release the message that I was going to release about machines and all that type of stuff that I wrote out in the Discord for the Discord people, right? But we'll transport that to the community tab maybe Thursday. I'm looking at Thursday, or something like that. But yeah, it's hard to keep things scheduled because we are fasting for Ramadan, right? So we're spending the night praying. So really 10 days. In 10 days we'll have more of our, faculties with us. Why? Because, it's not just a fasting during the day, but also prayers during the night. That sort of makes it hard to sleep, hard to eat, and then drinking coffee at 7:30 at night, that could be a dicey situation in terms of sleep. I mean, right? So not getting that much sleep, having a lot of muscle fatigue. I mean, so you know, in 10 days, we'll continue the fasting after 10 days, but it'll still be easier to communicate because we won't be having prayers at night. So it'll be a lot easier in 10 days to communicate with all of you. So for all of the people that are trying to correspond with me and trying to talk to me, I mean, yeah, I just give it like a week or 10 days. I mean, because just very much not having a lot of time or energy, right, to communicate. But we have done well in bringing a similar amount of shows to you guys. So, we've done a lot of shows, you know what I mean? And we've recorded extra material here. If you guys have seen Made by Machine Bob, right? So
Yeah,
go and
stop
check
telling
out.
me you're doing more shows for some reason. I don't
No,
understand it.
no, it's not more shows. It's just we did extra 3-hour shows. So we've cut the other shows to 9 hours, right? So we did 2 other 3-hour shows made by Machine Bob. So you guys could go check those out. So yeah, it's just we're just appearing more often because just chopping it up. But yeah, we got a lot more material to share with you guys. So I saw Rock E. Shepherd trying to hop on the panel 3 or 4 times here. And for some reason, every time he tried to join it, he fell out of the studio. So I'm sorry, Rock E. I don't know what's going on here, with the technical difficulties, but hopefully you can join at some point. I mean, of course, we'd love to talk to you, sir. I mean, blessings. So, yeah, blessings, Zephyr. I appreciate you, madam. Okay, so moving on here, the new Luddite challenge, right? Okay, and we'll look at how much of this challenge has affected Bill Joy. He seems to adopt a critical aspect of these ideas, right? So we'll come to where he's came to, because he says he's not a Luddite, right? He says there's no going back, right? Okay. But he's not on board with Kurzweil, right? So let's see what he says. He says, so this is Kaczynski. He says, first, let us postulate that computer scientists succeed in developing intelligent machines that can do all things better than human beings can do them. In that case, presumably all work will be done by vast, highly organized systems of machines. No human effort will be necessary. Either of 2 cases might occur. The machines might be permitted to make all their own decisions without human oversight, or else human control over the machines might be retained. If the machines are permitted to make all their own decisions, we can't make any conjectures as to the results, because it is impossible to guess how such machines might behave. We only point out that the fate of the human race would be at the mercy of the machines. It might be argued that the human race would never be foolish enough to hand over all the power to the machines. But we are suggesting neither that the human race would voluntarily turn power over to the machines, nor that the machines would willfully seize power. What we do suggest is that the human race might easily permit itself to drift into a position of such dependence on machines that it would have no practical choice but to accept all of the machine's decisions. As society and the problems to accept all of the machine's decisions. Oh wait. Excuse me. As a society and the problems that face it become more and more complex, the machines become more and more intelligent. Sorry, I read the same line twice, I think. But yeah, people will let machines make more and more of their decisions for them simply because machine-made decisions will bring better results than man-made ones. Eventually, a stage may be reached at which the decisions necessary to keep the system running will be so complex that human beings will be incapable of making them intelligently. At that stage, the machines will be in effective control. People won't be able to just turn the machines off because they will be so dependent on them that turning them off would amount to self-harm. Okay. I don't know why this isn't scrolling all the way down. Blessings. But yeah, on the other hand, it is possible that human control of the machines may be retained. In that case, the average man may have control over certain private machines of his own, such as his car or his personal computer, but control over large systems of machines will be in the hands of the tiny elite, just as it is today, but with two differences. Due to improved techniques, the elite will have greater control over the masses. And because human work will no longer be necessary, the masses will be superfluous, a useless burden on the system. If the elite is ruthless, they may simply decide to exterminate the mass of humanity. If they are humane, they may use propaganda or other psychological or biological techniques to reduce the birth rate until the mass of humanity becomes extinct, leaving the world to the elite. Or if the elite consists of soft-hearted liberals, they may decide to play the role of good shepherds to the rest of the human race. Okay, this is exactly the scenario that plays out in The Scientific Outlook by Bertrand Russell, right? You know, in scientific totalitarianism, right? He says, they will see to it that everyone's physical needs are satisfied, that all children are raised under psychological hygienic conditions, that everyone has wholesome hobby to keep him busy, and that everyone who may become dissatisfied undergoes treatment to cure his problem, right? Same thing in the Panopticon, right? By Bentham, right? Where he says that the games of the children, right? Okay, that the playground equipment will basically be used to power the city. Like the kids will be like gerbils on a wheel charging up the city. I mean, in this giant prison. I mean, where the main goal is mass surveillance, right? He says, of course, life will be so purposeless that people will have to be biologically or psychologically engineered either to remove their need for the power process or make them sublimate their drive for power into some harmless hobby. These engineered human beings may be happy in such a society, but they will most certainly not be free. They will have been reduced to the status of domestic animals. Okay. Now let me read another one, right? By Carl Sagan, right? Now this one by the scientists, right? He says it might be a familiar progression transpiring on many worlds. A planet newly formed placidly revolves around its star. Life slowly forms a kaleidoscope procession of creatures, evolves, intelligence emerges, which at least up to a point confers enormous survival value, and then technology is invented. It dawns on them that there are such things as laws of nature, and these laws can be revealed by experiment, and that knowledge of these laws can be made both to save and to take lives, both on unprecedented scales. Science, they recognize, grants immense powers In a flash, they create world-altering contrivances. Some planetary civilizations see their way through, place limits on what may and must not be done, and safely pass through the time of perils. Others, not so prudent, perish. So what Sagan is talking about, right, and what Kaczynski is talking about, right, and what Moravik, right, is talking about in terms of combination of human beings and machines, and of course, Kurzweil agrees that that is a goal, okay, and Breakfast Tacos agrees that that is a goal, right, all right, of humanity, right, okay, is to accelerate the evolutionary process, right, either with or without the use of technology, right, even though such technology poses an existential risk to human civilization. This is the key point, right? This presents us with a very important ethical dilemma, right? An ethical dilemma that essentially, okay, Bill Joy has had a response to, right? And here's his response, finally. He says he's not a Luddite, right? Obviously, he's been responsible for the development of a lot of these technologies, right? Obviously, he's very optimistic about technology's role in saving humanity. We've seen that as well. Okay, a sort of pie in the sky approach, right? That he presents, right? Okay, in terms of technology fixing the environmental problems, right? Okay. Now, obviously, we've talked about the irony of the situation, right? That technology that we made is causing an existential risk to humanity, right? So man is ruining nature by creating technology, but technology will save nature through man, right? So this brings us to two key ideological suppositions, right? Okay. Okay. Or conclusions, right? Okay. That are basically the idea of techno-Gaianism, right? Or that we may merge with nature through technology, right? Or the idea of transhumanism, that we could go beyond nature through technology, right? Right? Transhumanists want to go to space, right? Techno-Gaianists want to use technology to transform nature, right? Okay. So these two are part and parcel of a new schema, right? Within the scientific approach, right? And it goes to this concept furthermore, right? If I could find this, right? That he says, George Dyson warns, okay, in the game of life and evolution, there are three players at the table: human beings, nature, and machines. And he said, I am firmly on the side of nature, but nature, I suspect, is on the side of the machines. Okay, so out of possible scenarios, right? Okay. Of course, we reject that scenario, right? We gave our synthesis of the relationship between man and nature and machines many times, right? But now we get to the idea of nanotechnology, right? And now he says, right? And now I'm reading from Bill Joy, and we don't have that much time left here, right? We're going to present you guys as much as we can, and please feel free to join in the discussions to the panels members. And yeah, I mean, the link is pinned. You know, feel free to join the discussion, folks. You know, and yeah, this is about a 3-hour stream, you know, and yeah, you know, there's about a, you know, 20-minute musical outro usually. So you know, I mean, it's really supposed to only be a 2-hour stream. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, but really, you know, I really want to at least get to some of this, right? With Bill Joy and his ideas of his ethical solutions to the problem, and whether or not they're feasible or not, right? But yeah, he says in the engines of creation, Eric Drexler proposed that we build an active nanotechnological shield, a form of immune system for the biosphere, to defend against dangerous replicators of all kinds that might escape from laboratories otherwise be maliciously created. But the shield he proposed would itself be extremely dangerous. Nothing could prevent it from developing autoimmune problems and attacking the biosphere itself, right? Okay. So the idea is that they want to create a nano self-replicating nanotechnology, right? Now, if they lose control, right? The machines could propagate themselves, right? And simply take over the biosphere, right? So to prevent from this, they said we'll create a nano biosphere shield and cover the biosphere with a nano shield. That's what's proposed in this stupid ass book by this retarded idiot, Eric K. Drexler, who works at MIT, and of course that can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, how this works is if they lose control, someone else will take control, like they did with the old video games. So that's how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. So why could this shield not develop, as he said, autoimmune problems and attack the hosts, right, that created it, right? And we'd be living inside of a giant microwave or something like that, right? That's slowly killing us off, right? So here it says similar difficulties, of course, apply to the construction of shields against robotics and genetic engineering. Okay, so remember we have the three technologies there, right? Genetics, nanobots, and engineering, and GNR. Genetics, genetics, nanorobots, and robotics. Sorry, not engineering, right? But yeah, it goes to similar problems because you know, you have three levels of things, right? And obviously, if you enter into a digital world or space, right, you're moving into a more and more hierarchical form, right, in which they're encoding the information, right? For example, right, I explained earlier, right, that, you know, the electronics, right? Okay, engineering works by combining various electronic systems, right? So engineers who create robotics systems, right, and complex machines, right? Okay, they become more valuable, right, than just simple electricians. They know, okay, essentially, okay, a lot of what the electrician knows, but they don't function on the same level as the electrician. Okay, now people who code and combine, okay, various electronic you know, machines, okay, and electronic systems, okay, that are created by engineers, right, through digital systems, right? Okay, that's a higher order, right? Okay, of complexity, right? But it's also its own specialization, right? So it creates a whole nother you know, game in terms of experts, right? So I mean, I don't really predict that in the future that the experts in you know, a lot of these different types of technologies are going to have the knowledge, right, to prevent disaster in other areas, right? But yeah, he goes on to say, he says, these technologies are too powerful to be shielded against. This is the main point. Right? Okay, these technologies are too powerful to be shielded against, right? Okay, for something like AI, they were actually talking about creating a new regulatory agency as part of the government to control the AI system. So you have to have a huge increase in the size of government. Okay, you're looking at a agency just like the one that runs the nuclear armaments, right? Okay, like the nuclear technology, it cannot be privatized. It's too big of a technology to be privatized. It has to be run by states and regulated by states. So large
Yeah,
so
that
large
might be across the states.
large technologies are inherently socializing. This is the problem with them. Right? We've pointed at this problem again and again. This is why capitalism is on its death, bed. And
That's
so is
even funnier.
yeah, and so is liberalism. Liberalism, capitalism, scientism, they're all on their deathbed. Why?
Well,
Because
scientism is for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the other two, not so much.
Well, we gotta get into a Lul. You can't be individualistic, right? And anyways, individualism and collectivism both gave both sort of it's like the snake eating its tail. Right? So liberalism itself has many built-in issues, right? In which it has already imploded. Really already imploded, right? Right? Because individualism and collectivism have created a dichotomy. I mean, the conservatives are the new leftists, and the leftists are just nihilists, right? So this is the new world we're living in. I mean, right? So there's a whole new expression to the political scheme, and so yeah, I think these things are things of the past. They're theories that have been applied and failed. What's actually been risen up through it all is the technological state, right? That's the thing that survived through it all. That's the thing that liberals and conservatives both support, no matter what. I mean, so it's obvious, right? All right. And let's go to this. He says these technologies are too powerful to be shielded against in the time frame of interest. Even if it were possible to implement defensive shields, the side effects of their development would be at least as dangerous as the technologies we are trying to protect against. Oh, you mean the solutions are worse than the problems? Yeah. It's that stage. Right. Said these possibilities are all thus either undesirable or unachievable or both. So what does Bill Joy say about it, right? He says the only realistic alternative I see is relinquishment. Is that feasible? Relinquishment of technologies. Is that going to be acceptable?
You first, Bill. How about that?
Right. Why don't you first? Why don't you go first, Bill? since you're our boy, since you're our relinquishment boy. What are you giving up for Lent, Bill? Right. I mean, yeah. Funny, huh? Yeah, I wonder. No, he thinks this is a collective project. So who's going to enforce what technologies we accept and reject? Preposterous.
I guess I'll volunteer. Get rid of your Apple crap. Your MacBook, your iPod, get rid of those. I'll volunteer.
Okay, so we got Hank as the tech czar, right? Okay,
Yep.
so he'll decide which technologies you need and which ones you don't need. Okay, um, you know, yeah, yeah. I mean, what is he smoking? I mean, relinquishment. He says, all right. What world is that going to work? So, to limit the development of technologies that are too dangerous. Who's going to limit them, right? By limiting our pursuit of certain kinds of knowledge. Oh, now he's getting into dangerous territory. He's saying we can't just limit technology, we have to limit knowledge. See how liberalism is taking an L? A huge L? Because the whole idea in liberalism is the pursuit of knowledge. Humanity benefits by the pursuit of knowledge. Not only did Breakfast Taco say, it doesn't matter if humanity's done. Okay, so what, I mean, you can't have a more anti-liberal statement than that, is that, that we can just evolve, we could just have AI evolve past humanity. There.
It's
Wonder
just-
if the AI is going to be liberal or not.
Well, it is. I mean, they actually done studies. It is very libtard.
Really?
But yeah, really.
Well, I guess libtard. Yeah, libtard kind of goes with science tard. So it's we've discovered that these are two naturally developing elements, right? Naturally cohesive elements. Right?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
At least that's what the anthropology studies are saying. They go.
Right. Yeah. Never mind that those anthropology studies have a science bias, right? But that's for another thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, here it goes. Obviously we can't trust scientists to judge the fruit of their own labors. I mean, look at the idea, the conversation between Harding and Freeman Dyson.
Yeah, that's where the magic of science comes in. They judge each other. That's the point. They judge each other, so they always scathe each other, and that's how we figure out what actually works. So we make them judge each other. That's how peer review is supposed to work, but it's starting to become a collusion. So we need to just take away the private peer review and make them do it in public now. That's how we solve that issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, he's proposing some radical things. Okay, so he's saying that we need to propose relinquishment of certain types of technology, and as a precursor to that, we need to relinquish certain types of knowledge. So he says, so he finally comes to the conclusion that certain types of knowledge are going to be dangerous. So he's going back to Plato, right? We're going to have to employ censorship, right? And only the philosophers are going to be able to decide who gets to use which types of technology, right? And who's cut out for it. I mean, right? So we're looking at a highly strenuous society, right? Highly rigid rules and a very hierarchical order, aka, okay, not liberal. Not everybody gets to do whatever they want. Not maximization of knowledge and freedom and all of these things, and in the collective human spirit and blah blah blah. I mean, but yeah, he says, yes, I know knowledge is good, as is search for new truths. Yep, that's a scientific credo. You're gonna have to reject that now, right? We have been seeking knowledge since ancient times. Aristotle opened his metaphysics with the simple statement, all men by nature desired to know. The guy who basically pointed out science and logic as separate areas, right? Okay. I wouldn't say he invented them, but he sort of created them as subjects, right? And in that way, he engaged in the compartmentalization of knowledge, right? Okay, something that Plato did not engage in. Why? Because Plato thought truth, beauty, and goodness are the same subject, right? Aristotle said, nah, those are different subjects because they don't exist as some transcendental form, right? Okay. So, yeah. So let's go. He says we have as a bedrock value our society long agreed on the value of open access to information and recognized problems that arise with the attempts to restrict access to and development of knowledge. In recent times, we have come to revere scientific knowledge. But despite the strong historical precedents of open access to and unlimited development of knowledge henceforth puts all in clear danger of extinction, then common sense demands that we re-examine even these basic long-held beliefs. Okay. It was Nietzsche who warned us at the end of the 19th century, not only that God is dead, but that faith in science, which after all exists undeniably, cannot owe its origin to a calculus of utility. It must have originated in spite of the fact of the disutility and dangerousness of its will to truth, and truth at any price is proved to it constantly. Okay. Now he says it is further danger that we now fully face the consequence of our truth seeking, the truth that science can certainly be considered a dangerous substitute for God if it is likely to lead to our extinction. Okay, I'll leave it there. Right, science as a dangerous replacement for God in Bill Joy's "Why the Future Doesn't Need Us." Pretty insane stuff, huh folks? Right? What do you guys think?
Televised apocalypse, you haven't said anything yet. Okay, I guess he's not going to talk today.
I think he has. He did say something earlier.
I'm here. Sorry, what?
What do you think about Bill Joy's bullshit?
Bullshit. As someone who deals with technology on a constant, everyday basis, I can tell you that, the solutions that they seem to be coming up with are much more worse than just dealing with the problem itself. So,
yeah, obviously.
Yep.
So, yeah,
there's quite a few people who make lots of money off of certain types of technology. I can tell you they're going to fight to the death to make sure that technology stays in play.
Yes, and not their own death. That's the point. They're not going to fight to their own death. They're just going to smite whoever's getting in the way. Or, even worse, they just have everything they need away and just ignore the regulation. With these retro gamers, modders, they don't give a crap about copyright. Who gives a crap? They got the tools, so why should we care? That's their attitude.
What's going on, Hank?
Oh, I'm just on the machine license panel. We're talking about Bill Joy. Do you know who Bill Joy is? Rocky, do you know who Bill Joy is?
Killjoy?
Bill Joy.
Dr. Killjoy.
Anyway, there's some shit talkers in chat. I need to ban them. Anyway, I tried to get Cash App to send you some dough, but I don't have a cell. I don't have a cell phone, so
it's okay. No worries.
Don't worry. I always send him some money. I didn't even say anything yet, except to just bag on Rocky. He could figure out to run an Android emulator or something. Are you on the desktop or are you on a potato?
I bought a bunch of books. Look at this one. It's Geneva 1599.
Oh wow, that looks valuable. Yeah, that probably has way more books in it than the King James.
The Geneva 1560 edition. facsimile, which means it has the notes that okay, this is 1611 King James Version.
Oh wow.
Facsimile, which means it's a picture of the original book. And then look what they sent me with it. They sent me an original. Where's it at? Uh-oh, where'd it go? I lost it already. Oh, they sent me an original page from one of the original 1611 King James Bible. This is, anyway. So, the importance of the Geneva Bible is that it has commentaries. This one was written so the commentaries would be taken out. See, this one has commentaries, and it's a facsimile, so you get to see what the original commentaries look like, not just like what someone interpreted. And then this one has, see, this has the order of time right before the book of Revelations. It's the order of time, and it shows you right here. Okay, it shows you right here that okay, this one right here, 70 AD. This is talking about Revelations, and the dragon was put in the pit 70 AD, and we went, and then Christ reigned for 1,000 years. Right here, 1070, and then Satan was thrown into the pit for a short season. So if you add 1076 was the end of the tribulation. Satan was thrown in the pit. Oh, let's see. The end of the tribulation was up here, 76 AD, 1,000-year reign of Christ. They added 700 years to history. So in about 1776, they celebrate the loosing of Satan out of the pit. So we're in Satan's little season. We're not waiting for the tribulation. So this is the importance of this facsimile, because everybody knew that Christ had already came back, reigned for 1,000 years, and that we are now in Satan's little season.
So I have a question. When Christ reigned, was he alive the whole time?
Yes, he's alive somewhere. He's still on Earth somewhere. We think he's at the North Pole.
Oh, so Christ is Santa Claus. That makes sense.
At the end time, the camp. So, okay, that's my worldview, and I'm sticking to it because I have the truth, and you don't.
The truth is just a feeling.
He must be Santa Claus. He lives at the North Pole.
The truth is the new hate speech. The truth is so. There you go. The truth is hate speech.
I don't believe in hate speech. But if you do make a terrorist threat at me, well, watch your back.
Anyway, all these shit talkers in chat, and they ain't got the balls to come up live.
Actually, there's a couple here. So Television Apocalypse is here. I'm also here. So yes, some of the shit talkers are on panel right now.
Oh, and did you know that in the Chinese ancient language, I can put it in private chat, that the ancient Chinese language, the word for flood or boat or something is a boat with eight people in it. And it's so if you know ancient Chinese, you can basically, the story of the Bible is in it, and even Jesus is in it, I think. The cross and all that shit. I don't know. I can show you where's that? I had it. I'll give you the link.
I mean, the Greeks also had a guy who died and came back, so in 3 days. So Is it
No,
Jesus? Probably
this
not.
is in their language. This is in their language. And if you were a Christian and you knew ancient language, you could probably read the narrative. It's called it's called Nephilim. Oh, it's talking about Nephilim and shit. Where is it? Private chat. I put it right there. Also, it's also in the Japanese language. It's in the Japanese and the Chinese stick language, the old stick language, whatever you call that. Okay, open this. I'll give you the link. Hold on. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Okay, where's the private? There you go. Okay, check that out for some research. I just wanted you to check that out, TML. It's some pretty good research right there.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, I think I've seen some of that before, where they show the characters and yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese and Chinese characters it's like it's the Bible story, but in the language. It's like I don't understand this thing.
Yeah,
It's just like
I've seen them like how they, like the boat and they got other stuff too. They got
yeah, like the word for boat or flood is pronounced in ancient like no.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but we actually read it, the book of Mangzi, and he actually mentioned the flood myth. So we actually read a Chinese text from, the time when Plato would have wrote. So same time Plato was writing about Atlantis, these ancient Chinese people were writing about the flood myth. So they all had the flood myth. I mean, so I could actually show you in the Hindu and I'm in Mangzi and Plato and in a bunch of different ancient, not ancient, but I guess you could say ancient. 400 BC. I mean, it's ancient enough. I mean,
what's
so
weird, Rocky?
How do we know? How do we know people that can read Chinese can become saved just by reading their own language? They can understand the gospel maybe just by reading their own language.
Yeah, we don't know. But what's weird, Rocky? They don't agree on what time the flood happened. It's like the floods happened at different times.
Yeah, they think they're retarded. Yeah, people in Europe and people in Israel, they think people in America are retarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Which is why we do their security for them, because we're so stupid.
I think there's two events. First, flood, like for Noah, the flood of Noah. And then I think the tribulation happened. And I think maybe the earth was all one piece. And then it talks about a great earthquake, which will never be again. And maybe that's when Pangean happened or something. And that the lands used to be all connected. Because, a lot of people say that the tribulation can't happen until all the gospels spread throughout the whole world. But in Paul, Peter, and John both said the gospel had been already spread throughout the whole world. I think the world was like the kingdom of Rome was bigger than we thought it was, or smaller or whatever, but everybody knew the gospel, and therefore we're in Satan's little season. It's no excuse. The third temple was never talked about being built in the scriptures. That's all Zionism, and that comes from futurism. This is the wrong eschatology. They have the wrong eschatology, and therefore, if it wasn't for that fake eschatology, we wouldn't have these fake Zionist Jews fucking ruling the world through the Rockefellers.
But you know what this means? This is proof against Jesus being omnipotent, because Satan couldn't have just came back out of hell.
No. See, you remember Job?
Yes.
Job was given. He could torment, and he could do all. He was given powers to hurt Job, but he wasn't allowed to kill him. I believe we're in 1776. They wrote a contract. Satan wrote a contract because America means feathered serpent, and there's a social contract that the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence we think is such a great thing, but it's the Statue of Liberty is liberty to sin against God. It's America was we think it was created for freedom and shit, but
So who gave us the liberty to sin against God?
I think Satan was released in 1776. That's the beginning of Satan's little season.
So
And
answer
that
the question.
Illuminati was created at the same year, 1776. And then what did it do? It reestablished the Republic, which is what Rome was before. And I think Satan likes a republic, that he likes to reestablish.
Yeah. So two questions. Who gave us the liberty to sin against God? And did you receive Jack Talcott yet, or is he not there? Are you hiding Jack Talcott?
Jack Talcott? I don't know where. I lost his phone number, or I'd call him because he gave me his phone number. I went to visit him at his house, and I told him he needs to, at the time I didn't say nothing, but he's very skinny. He looks like he's gonna like a wind blow him over or something.
He's a vegetarian. That's why he's so skinny.
I told him after he needs to stop being a vegan and fucking eat some goddamn meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck that vegan shit. I mean, he's not an Indian. He's not from India, man. You got to get off that Indian fucking vegan shit.
I agree with that.
It's America. You need to go out.
Yeah, it's America.
Yeah. Stop bringing that fucked up culture over here where you turn into a vegan and little soy boy shit. You know what I mean? Oh.
Yeah, you got a little story with your salmon, but not. Come on, man.
I'm not judging anybody, but them soy boys are, I don't know. You got to eat meat. Yeah, anyway, I met Jack at his house. His stage is like right behind him. I thought he was like maybe 5 feet away from it, but he's like, it's right up against the back of his wall. He's like got that fireplace and it's a little corner. He's got his computers here and shit. And he needs to clean his room shit. I mean, he needs to clean his room before he leaves or something.
He left already. He was in Montana, but I was just wondering if you were hiding him instead. So that's why I asked.
Oh, he left. He left already?
Yeah. Yeah. 367 days at the Talcott Thomas Zone.
So he wasn't lying. He really was getting kicked out.
I think. Well, I'm not. I can't
everybody
confirm. But he didn't have a show. Yeah, he didn't have a show yesterday, and he said he was on Montana using a YouTube post. So I'm gonna assume he's not there because Margot's stalking him anyway. She would have came out and said he's still hiding there if he did. I'm probably on Flow State show, but so I'm just using the context clues. He's not there, but I don't know exactly where he is. So that's why I asked you if he was hiding in there.
No, he never contacted me.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, looks like he's on now. So, yeah, we'll go check out Jack. All right, that's all we have today. Blessings. Go check out Jack Talcott's show. If he is on. And Mama Sue says he's on. Let me go see if he's on. I don't know how to dump my audience places, so I actually don't.
You don't have the privileges yet.
Well, we could.
Oh, really?
What we will do is we'll link to the YouTube channel from the comment, and we could probably pin that. And but you can't dump it there yet. You don't have enough.
Oh wait, he's only restreaming.
Interesting.
Spontaneous opportunity. He's restreaming the old stream.
He didn't have a cat carrier. I don't give a fuck about a cat carrier. A cat still coming along with me.
No, this is happening at NPC the game, is it not?
Let's check NPC the game then. Let's see where he is.
So this is a crazy stream going on at NPC the game right now. So yeah, go check out NPC the game. He's bringing the exclusive.
Once we got going
with Jack Talcott out here. So yeah, so that's even better. Go check out the homie MPC the game, a great friend of the show. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be ending it here. You know what I mean? Do you guys have any closing thoughts?
Oh, no. I'll go check out. Well, I'd send you some money, but I don't know how to get your cash out.
Yeah, don't worry
And there's
about it,
some,
sir. Yeah, blessings. Yeah,
So
I
pretty
buy
much.
books. I buy books too. You know.
yeah, yeah. They were hassling you about donating to Flow State, I guess, or whatever. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
I donate to everybody. You know what I mean? If they let me on.
I don't mind. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, but blessings. You guys got anything else?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I premiered my I didn't premiere it, but I brought my argument, my God's idols equivalency to the atheists, and they kind of didn't want to engage. They want to do the straw man. Well, what about God of classical theism? Well, that's not the God. That wasn't my God claim. Please debunk the one I did. Gods equals idols. You can see idols. You can see touch idols. So your atheism has been destroyed. Welcome back to theism. And the atheists don't even want to engage with me because they know they're cooked. So if so, don't pretend you're not cooked. Challenge me if I'm wrong. But if God's equals idols, like I could derive from the Bible's Ten Commandments, then you're theist by definition. So if you think I'm wrong, message me, message the Machine Lights, message Perfect Talk. Try challenge me on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it. I'm kind of hesitant to just go in. You know, so I'm kind of trying to figure out an angle. Because I don't want to just go in and just you know get thrown out right away because I feel like they'll suspect me right away. So I want to go in maybe another theist design, sneak my way in there and maybe try to fortify some of their points or some stupid like that. I mean,
You go in where? You don't
to
want to go in
the atheist debate show, right? But yeah, they have an atheist debate show up. So we've been trying to figure out an angle to get in, but I don't want to just go in and just where it's a quick thing and then they just you know
I'll just throw you in there. I mean, you have a book.
Yeah, but it's not really their flavor of book. It's not a scientific book, so
It's anthropology. That's
yeah,
You would
maybe
be
science.
something like that,
so
yeah.
so machine lies. You would be uh against the atheists. You would be like opposing atheism.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, he's a practicing Muslim. He's fasting
And
right now.
Hank would be supporting atheism.
No, Hank's against atheism too.
Oh,
Yes, if atheism's a proposition, it goes. If it's about the proposition of gods exist, I'm for that gods exist. So I can't be
the
an
God,
atheist by that definition.
God's plural, gods.
Well, yeah, there is a one true higher God actually created stuff. It's definitely not Jesus, and I'm skeptical that's Yahweh, the demiurge. But there's definitely gods for sure.
Okay, you just have a different opinion on who God is.
Yeah, yeah. The God's Ruliad, but it's not some Jewish tribal god. It's not the
Tribal God.
well,
Jews. Yeah, it's not Jewish. I mean, the Jews were divorced from God's people. Were divorced. I mean, they were originally just a nation that was supposed to show the other nations who God was, and then they were so bad at it that God divorced them when they rejected Christ as their Savior. And now the church took over that job to spread the gospel.
Yep.
And the fake Jews are all because of a bad eschatology that there's no third temple spoken of in the scriptures to be built. It's all bullshit. Yeah. But the Old Testament is just a preamble of the New Testament. It doesn't mean it's Judo-Christianity. It just means that, these people that, I don't know. they hate the Jews, so they got to hate Christians. But I mean, the Jews were all fucked up from the beginning. They did a terrible job at their job, and eventually they rejected their own Messiah. So Christ divorced them, and he gave it over to the other people, the Gentiles. The not even. It just means the heathens the heathen that converted through accepting Christ as their Savior. It's just they just fuck it up.
Yeah, so go check out this stream, NPC the game. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We got a lot more to tell you guys about the subjects here. So, I'm gonna go around the panel and let everybody say bye to everyone. Blessings. Rocky.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, blessings,
I'm gonna
sir.
go over there. I know all them guys over OTW and all them like to call me names and shit because I call them out on their. I call them out on their shit too.
I'm gonna beat you over there, Rocky.
Yeah, go get him.
Hank.
All right. All right, peace, sir. Blessings. And peace to you, my friend. Tell vibes.
Peace, man. It was good, interesting listening as always. It's stressful when you're trying to navigate something as dangerous as what we are, trying to figure out the do's and don'ts. So, as someone, like I said,
right.
I deal with technology on a daily basis, and as someone who can find the utmost good in technology and also the very bad, it's a dangerous water to figure out how to. At what point do you say the technology should be completely removed altogether, regardless of if it's good or bad? So I don't know, man. It's getting to a very dangerous level where you can't tell where we continue to have the control of the technology that we think we have control of. So maybe we'll get there eventually. I'm always here, man. Just I'm in the outskirts sometimes.
Yeah, it's no worries, homie.
Blessings, man.
Yeah, I always appreciate you. Yeah, blessings. Yeah. Yeah. And that's about all we have for you guys today. In terms of the show, the machine lies. Thank you for joining us here on the machine lies. Talking about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And I hope you guys have clarity to see through the lies, my friends. The first step to blinding somebody is getting them to open their eyes. And the first step to see beyond the programming is to realize how you've been programmed. Now, I got some other quotes by Nietzsche for you guys. Man. And I'll bring these out tomorrow, too. He says, the machine itself teaches the mutual cooperation of hordes of men in operations where each man has to do only one thing. It provides the model for the party apparatus and conduct of warfare. On the other hand, it does not teach individual autocracy. It makes of many one machine and of every individual an instrument to one end. Its most generalized effect is to teach the utility of centralization. The utility of centralization. All right. And the eclipse of individualism. Right. The death of liberalism. Right. And this is more what we're going to be exposing on the new episodes of the Machine Lies. Blessings. Thank you guys for joining us here. And please go check out this video, NPC the game. He's on right now. We got the link in the chat here. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me give you guys some music for you guys. You know what I mean? Okay, blessings. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys. You know what I mean?
Second acts in your guts like Maximus, bumping Exodus, bonded by hemoglobin, dumping clips in your tits, the anarchist activist. The brotherhood of evil mutants run up on you, shooting people, fucking feeble unit, none of us are good. Toxic avenging your head, the reverend of death, revving the engine for the revelation of flesh being stretched to the ending. Your homo clicks exterminated like vermin roaming through train stations, terminated by electrical currents occurring. I rock a pair of Nikes hiking through the streets like a Viking holding spikes. I'm civilized with devil eyes. Don't slay. You're not ill, you perpetrate the blood that circulates in your vertebrae. You'll squirt in your shirt with the perverted murder percolate. Your revolting, insulting coke king is resulting as the sickest fuck on the planet Earth. Catapulting molten. I'll be a billionaire and still be down to throw you down the stairs and kill you. Rocking military gear with ill, I don't care. God of atrocity, fuck you with 5 fingers constantly. The monstrosity, king of the scumbags, king of colostomy. My gun bang, we run things, get you a necktie. Look how your tongue hangs. Bloodbath pornography, splatterfest, sadomasochist. I paint the walls with your blood. Physical graffiti, cynical and greedy. This is murder world. Welcome to your death after the afterlife. I murder you again. Laugh with the burner to your head. Suicide soldiers like the heaven's gate. Die obsessed with hate. Bloodstained holy books are like a test of faith. Like the word of God telling me to kill. Or the word of pagans telling me to sacrifice you in the name of Satan. Pain, lust, and abomination. Unholy combination. Circle of tyrants, we control an entire nation. That can attack you like the dawn of the dead. Rather be backstage catching head from your daughter instead. You're on all fours, candle stuck to your back like gauze. I got to make a lamp shady and skin, tack you the walls. That's when the boredom sets in. Pull out my axe from the store. How he pops up with enough packs to the last to fall. The wizard and gore, diminished like your skull with a sword. Emotionless, serotonin finished like ripples and dwarves. God hates us all, so we burn churches. Your mouth's a urinal, bitch. Lays in the deep purple, I'll hurt you on purpose. Never got shit handed to me. The silver spoon is only used to cook the Lord and imported. Your kids are fantasy. We sick goons, we don't give a fuck what you say. Above the law, get an apology straight from DAs. Players, ball killer, coked out jokes of Beretta schemes. If I don't blow up, this lab is a kitchen for methamphetamines. The walls closing in, too much to fight. People view suicide, we all die tonight. Hey, yo, I slay who I wanna. We're creating a horror. See my state of nirvana is to make you a goner. Stick a pick in your stomach because I'm sick of you frontin'. But still I'm quick at the bludgeon and catch a victim for nothing. I whip out the sharp shakers, they can jig up with these. I watch your ligaments bleed with very vigorous speed. My left hook is known to put a bitch in the seat and transform his face into mystery meat. After I clap at your wing, your skull will snap like a twig. There ain't no little body counts, I make my massacres big. Carefully put in the clip so that the bullets can rip. You get butchered to bits, to me's as good as it gets. Bet you leave on the stretcher when the 16 wet you. With your cap twisted back like a major league catcher. The head will bleed, catch up to your garments and soap. Watch me finish the job with something sharp in your throat. Before ligaments and fridges, the 666 digits religion where sacrifice pigeons fidget was created by ancient midgets. My kamikaze cronies listen to Ozzy over Rick Ross chords during quasi-religious ceremonies. I see what the owl see, curse you into paralysis, drinking blood from the chalice with Aleister Crowley. I feel no guilt for the blood that got spilt. Fuck, thou shalt not kill. Do what thou wilt. Scheming on Rosemary's Baby in the Witch's Shrine. My cult will leave you shocked like Polanski in 69. Introduce you to hallucinogenic narcotics, baiting you with females rocking psychedelic bell bottoms. Fu Manchu in effect, bending spoons like Uri Geller. Then I'll sharpen the ends and jukes you in the neck. 67 stab wounds in the LaBiancas allows you to sip droplets from the goblets of pompous conquerors. Table and dagger, author of death, virgins with big breasts, soldiers of morbid thoughts, nuns indulging in incest. Bring me the goat, manipulating women on dope, kidnap the Pope, hang from the rope, stabbing the throat. I spill your blood in the name of Satan and capture your your soul. Author of sacrifice, use the Bible to passion your skull. Master within your code, authors of madness, step into my chapel, the ghouls. My collection of scalpels and tools are used for ritualistic and sadistic purposes. Ceremonial death, surfing the ancient verses. Pazuzu possesses a system masturbating in the monastery. She used the crucifix to pop a cherry. Perverted priests flow with the deceased. The black mass is achieved. Shadowy figures joyfully dance for the beast. Hunger for human flesh and sex, the cannibal's feast. Head of the jackal, six-figured hand is complete.
20 hits in the room melts, get dosed with the black acid. Kidnapping your wife, cave suppositories and plastic. Hands are smashed in areolas, cold as a bastard. Torn from a casket, human flesh gets scorned to ashes. Pray to Satan like Jimmy Page, takes the stage of blood. Cousins of followers, blood led by Miss Sadie Blood. Cielo Drive, from up in the hills. Californication and pills. 666 engraved in your fucking gills. Bill wifey, made to eat the whole cake. Worship a ghost steak, punch in the throat like chunks of cocaine. Lunch in the crate, and cutting the stumps in the first day. Surgeon of hate, I'm licensed, keep my nurses on K. I'm the vap in the fade, Kevorkian with dust in the J. Hella weights, pussy and podium, molested remains. I'm like Brian Wilson, a genius with a stain of crimson. Original, delusional, goes removed to the system. Enter the master witch, doctor, evil emperor, my chance. Who anoint the dead and poison heads, the brainwash and chant. I envision baptism with satanic mechanisms. See each exorcism leads to deep flesh incision. My system of worship features bitches and skirts. I strip and purify my prey before they viciously murder. We're known to impregnate and corrupt the average slut. Stab a gut to quickly sip the miscarriage from cup. Hide the leader of ascension along with evil henchmen. You can down your throat because your soul needed cleansing. Blood painted pentagrams engulfed by flames. Charcoal chunks of frames, we feast on monkey brains. Calmly cut you down your spine, then we're chugging blood and wine. Choke and suffocate with twine, the fucking suffering's divine. While I tranquilize the needles getting stuck up in your arm. Sacrificial animals get abducted from the farm.
Placing heat in each crease of the beat through my mouthpiece. Inhale, pull, exhale, release. Come on, black, please ease up. You can't relate even when I state it in plain English. Your fiendish behavior gotcha. Stuck on this biz like vapors, marinating in disorientation. Still can't make sense out of me. Mentality or application of technique forever shall constantly expand, leaving suckers stranded one step behind the program and incomplete. Nah, you ain't frontin' on the article. Dope, damn, it's hot. Gotta drop the scroll, it's coughing smoke. Pause, react, slow but still got this rhyme flow by the throat. Pioneer of erect concertos that compose part of a blossom that grows twofold times 10, stimulating to the women and the men. So y'all are up all. First of all, my mission is to be clear. Secondly, slide over so my brethren can slide from the rear. It makes sense out of me.
Physically, that speaks for itself. Disorientation.
Disorientation.
Physically, that speaks for itself.
Still got this rhyme flow by the throat.
Live like wet fingers in the socket. When I let flows fly like flags in the wind. On this way to impact every aspect of my projection. In reports, direct thoughts that leave forth with phrases. Which raise no hint to agonize effort, but we can't be no other. The uppercuts exalted, starting the frame. A stud like diamonds. You barely a big fish in the puddle, grabbing the mic with no fingers. Reaction to fusion and fission in collision. Stepping up like a podium, thinking you dope. You residue, I rinse like soap. Leaving not enough for you to shove under a fingernail. Rubbing me wrong like carpet burn. Slang like Selena, crushed like croutons. Kill up competitors like coupons. Guys are born like the desert who misses the rain. Some of the time enjoy spraining my foot, dancing on your ass. I'm neither violent nor lily white. I just prefer to get like Ben Hart and run you over tracks like chariots. Ignorance is high, as if it reached eternity and airborne. Weak minds are in flight, attendance goes on. Lies converge, hearing is receiving and open like pores in every orifice. Equilibrium and vertical shift via two-legged tables, disorientation, ground. The color of sound, the birth bridge. Musically, that speaks for itself. The blank slate, the fire spitters. Musically, that speaks for itself. Disorientation.
Disorientation.
Musically, that speaks for itself.
Still got this rhyme flow by the throat.
Harmonious, extracurricular, illustrator, stuck up
everything. Envision the vision of good and evil, but more true and perish. Don't choose, confuse, or even inside of the prison where the creator place you. In case you don't understand, remember I rap, remember I ran, remember dismembered bodies of MCs and SPs melting at ground zero. Adjust your reason, grand exquisite, lyric, verbalizer, witness the fire, break down rhymes to enzymes in my saliva, deliver, I'm the liar, futuristic describer of cities enclosed in plastic bubbles, you spell trouble, P-R-I-E-S-T, my ESP, harder than SB-1200 snare taps, over bear traps, snap like bear traps, did you hear that? Oh, you weren't listening. In case you don't understand, ignorant is high.
Curious George takes a job. Curious George buys a ball bearing. Curious George goes to the hospital and walks out, be it not erect, for the light. Cut myself empty, space, tramps. Cut myself empty, space.
Peel off the colors, transform into everywhere sandstorms.
Tramps. Cut myself empty, space.
Gone in here, chaos and order are yet to be discovered.
Tramps. Cut myself empty, space. Awakened from a slight repose. Tramps. Cut myself empty, space.
As of now, walls of flame disdain, distorting, lining in order, pointing to a reference, pointing, this is a painting, remembering an end and then it's all over the face again, loving every novel treetop, foundations to build more and more. Hovering colors hide under the slight mutter of another rumbling thundercloud, wonder how I found this soundless eternity, rumbling externally, cluttering, burning heat, bubbling, permanently pulling the puppet strings, time, chuckling at a mind's climb, what a
thing indeed, I mean the primordial mud, run try to figure out this plot, doesn't it? Hark alongside the will of thorn and presenting yes, but whom so long as I'm about shan't be allowed to fall apart if in front of a promenade Promethean legs.
Closer against to the blade, cracking a pipe, children play here. Animals die and waterfalls of wall to wall, becoming some a daydream, pretty serene scene. Seem like summer days to learn how to glass bottom boat. Watch for your step, you're being followed. The echo echoes through this special vessel of heaven's levels, intersecting and connecting with the collection of the devil's space, reflecting pebbles, taste impeccably numb, tongue tingle, wrinkled stars fold the boldly warm forms, a kaleidoscopic way.
An immaculate world of fame with a mouthful of palm. Meanwhile, soul's been thinking out loud so long he can almost touch, leaving no tone unturned and renewing the noise, aesthetic void of half-truth. In honor of the solitary songbird plucked up of pen and pretense, I'm humming the ugliest honesty I know. Anarchy, smoothed out, and we are indeed.
Well, if monsters could talk and if time recorded itself, these civilization sunsets would be an album of bare photos. Take what you want, or will it make its mind for you? And an age-old expose and page fold, an open book. Circuit for disruption, searching for my nothing, looking toward the button to turn off the horizon. Sweeter than the ocean, now open for discussion, crushed inside emotion, just and realize.
On a clear day I can spell forever F-A-I, and already forcing misappropriation of the concept like the quixotic paradox of Curious George in the alphabet. For every pack of wild apes a flag in a dripping tongue.
Out on the range and everybody's been reorganized. Science don't live here, there are no signs to read from. Eyes blinking, seasons are relative to a smack in the face. Let there be light and clarity in participants. Particles of starving souls hardly hold a hearty hold in this carnival. The sharpened bow won't carve a hole in the artist's rose. It starts to pull apart your skull, your card gets pulled, you lose control, confused and broke. Now the downfall is all you know.
I'm newly enamored of nascent euphoria, naked epiphanies, making love to the same half-truth, half-truth. These book reports of 19th century French utopias always end up in eulogies anyway. I mean, don't they? Lead, guttural, firma, mint, lead, guttural, firma, mint. men, blood, brotherhood, format, men. Curiouser and curiouser. Monkey-made monolith, albeit not perfect. Still, the heavens quivered, the windmill wept, wings flapped, lights flashed, and parking meters blinked. And somehow, we stumbled into this repeater.
Channel can't change, always in the front. Can't see nobody waving goodbye or hello. Something that's lovely is invincible. All hail, falling all about managing, pick apart, architect a texture. When the birds dive and buildings of earth, it's a cave, a plastic bubble, magnifying the earth ain't dying. Welcome to a historical abortion in the making. This place could have been a painting. If its denizens are more in touch with the most advanced means of perpetuation. This world is a castle. Everything here is banished from dimensions that people don't even have emotions for. Everything that you see is an entirely different form as the person that came before. Enjoy this moment, stay here and take it somewhere else. Never leave this split until you go against the brain. And if the picture breaks, live inside the positive space.
And low, living there naked, without individuality. We hold each other safe, but for mastery see. Have we found the absolute, or just a wide empty? Love is truly human, doubt is animal crude. The ballerina of serendipity, company by the tin pans. I'm a friend with the cabin stands, banged upon a pantheistic beautification, pantomime, the veneer for defiance, simultaneity, continuity, blink down for the piece about the nature when tame, re-entitled. Fate, hands to God for every form like data from the golden rectangle. But somehow my impeccable sense of Greco-Roman architecture led to a column of symmetrical mannequin archetypes, fractioned by 8.
Finally, it's understandable, tangible, touchable, disgustable, aesthetically pleasing instead of combustible perception. When are we leaving? Is it even a question? I'm just a soul-searching merchant surfing on the surface of the reflection that previously and mysteriously fed the perception. Butterflies utter cries, better hide the directions. Otherwise, I'm like wide open for an inspection. Close your eyes, realize this is only conception. The garden lies around the nucleus of artistic expression. Beauty grows like thoughts, wind blows the clock. The whole is now a rock, so close up the dock. Take a seat and study today's lessons in depth and visit the caves of freedom's redemption. Oh, how exquisite these rays of sun unintentionally bundle the inner optimism's extension. I love this dimension.
Taking pictures with the wax messiah. Fundraising for the campaign of the dominant male. Inward a groan, outward a roar. Feeding lions to the Christian. From henceforth we'll build with death carefully and into new spirals of cervical vertebrae, circular cords of force, aquaper, frail pedals, quadrifoils, monk bones, mummifying organs and mutiny for skeletal with a funerary art, composing a morbid abundance toward the naturally boundless framing of stars. And the sacred song spells hold the tune also warding off discord. The sacrifice we make and what the hand of the cable make out of it. Gather your notebooks while you may. Eternal strangers carrying decalogues we cannot read. So we swap our paper Mercedes writing pages into a breeze of white roses and return them to the earth.
There's no time left, smoking girl. Chimney weighs a ton and there's no presents, these are gifts. Make all the faces a new exchange. Not to be stuck in the back until it comes around. Karma don't exist, well that's what was deserved. Hard workers don't make millionaires. But children that grow up and stare at the waterfalls all fall eventually into the same guillotine ahead of time. Bodies at decay. Nothing is forever. Like the lies that make the world turn and heads roll. Who's paying attention? Realizing our potential made stories of inspiration. Bleed in need of other cabins. But what's happened but bad children. All children are born in things only get better. All moves are good moves, and if we think hard enough, everything will disappear. Flowers still grow through out of this pollution. The earth is willing the sand and grow strong in the garden.
The evolution of dogma from mammalian standards to an obsession with Dharma to an 8-armed dolphin.
The evolution of dogma from man building its standards to an obsession with Dharma to an 8-armed Darwin.
The evolution of dogma from mammalian standards to an obsession with Dharma to an 8-armed dolphin.
The evolution of dogma from man building its standards to an obsession with Dharma to an 8-armed Darwin.